good evening, morning, afternoon, nighttime, daytime, breakfast, dinner.
Thank you, Truman.
We are the podcast downstairs.
Good to see you all.
Welcome back for another episode of the podcast downstairs. We talk all things horror. We're just three weirdos trapped in this basement, and we love movies. Got a few thoughts on that we'll get to in a second. First, we're going to go around the table and introduce ourselves. I am like the coolest egg you've ever met.
Nice.
And I just like, I am Diva. And I'm Glenn.
I hate you because I was going to do that. The divas are up. I'm Claudio.
I was going to say something about being the latest version, the updated reboot of myself from, the OG version, but you guys threw me off because that was very fun.
This is Joe part 1.
Yeah, how does it feel
like
for us
Joe
to have the
Asterisk
intro?
or Joe latest update? What?
How does it feel to have... Now we have the intro, Mr. Lord of Darkness.
Oh.
And
I'm just glad that I could inspire, more ridiculousness. Always more absurdity.
Well,
Speaking of...
If you haven't figured it out, we're talking about something very important, something relatively still fresh in the grave. The remains are still soft and soggy.
Yeah, I don't know if important's the right word.
And maybe a little bit warm and sticky. I don't know, I'd be sticky.
This is maybe, a month overcooked? But,
Yeah.
We are fresh off of having just seen Final Destination BLOODLINES, which I believe will be the first of our general Legacy-sequel discussion.
that it
Quickly
was.
followed by 28 years later. Mm-hmm. And...
I know what you did last summer. We have a May, June, July lineup of...
we do.
Actually, excuse me, I was a little confused. I'm fresh from seeing BLOODLINES. You guys saw it earlier,
Yes,
right?
we did.
We three are actually super fresh on seeing I Know What You Did Last Summer.
If you don't get it yet, the theme for this episode is legacy sequels. Whether they're good, bad, whatever,
We love a good franchise.
We will even mention some non-horror things just for the general context of it all. But we are definitely focusing on the three named sort of franchises that were popping off in a legacy-sequel way.
Give us some new life.
I feel like we're also going to probably shed some light on some prequels, some reboots. Mostly because some directors don't know the difference between any of the three.
I want to make a minute. I want to take time to really kind of define some of those terms because there is a big joke made, especially kind of infamously, famously, not so famously in
Almost
Scream 5. Well, with the whole they tried coining requel. I feel like that hasn't really caught on in the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
But we have reboot, we have remake, we have legacy sequel, we have prequel, we have a lot of things that didn't exist.
It's
It's a lot of vernacular.
Quite as pervasively 20 years ago.
A lot of making up words. Is what
All
I'm
words
saying.
are made up.
True.
Don't do this to me.
But yeah, a lot of...
If I can ever quote, what's her name from Archer, I'm gonna do it. Carol.
So yeah.
You're not my supervisor!
So what would you say is or go down the line of what we are talking about, legacy sequel, a remake?
Okay, well, if you don't mind letting me put you on the spot, we had a little kind of mini talk yesterday when you were like, well, hold up. Yeah, kind of saying this, define legacy sequel.
Yeah.
So what had you thought of it going into the theater yesterday versus after you asked that? I can't remember time. But what were you thinking of if someone said a legacy sequel? Were you just thinking kind of any sequel in a greater franchise?
Well, that's
that
what I mean.
Has a legacy? Or
Yeah, that's where I made the joke about Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm like, well, no, that is a sequel because it is a continuation of, but a legacy. Now, seeing it and
Legacy.
Legacy. Yeah, it's not. We're not copy pasting the same people in the same situation. It's
they might be.
Well, yeah,
but not by definition. Not necessarily.
not by
it's
definition.
like saying if we were in a legacy sequel, we were in the first movie, so to speak, and then maybe the next movie happens 10 years down the line, and the story doesn't revolve around us, but we exist in that area.
A reappearance of past characters.
Yeah.
In a similar narrative.
I thought already it's interesting that you mentioned like 10 years, like so as a number, because like some of these movies take place like 20 years, 30 years, 40 years in between.
We get it, Joe. We're getting old. Stop reminding
Get used to it. Join me on the tides of shores of time.
I don't know if there's a specific like time frame that makes it legacy.
Well, that's I wouldn't think that we would necessarily want to put a number on it, but I think it's interesting, like where people might start drawing a line,
goes,
or
like,
if it takes place like in the universe, like the next day could still be a legacy sequel if the movies are like 20 years apart. You know what I mean? And
Right,
so
That
I just
would be weird.
the overlap.
That'd be so weird. There's a
a-
lot of CGI cleanup that needs to happen. You had a rough 24 hours, huh? What are you talking about? I'm still Freddie Prinze Jr.
We're sci-fi, tiny,
Prinze
warpy.
Jr., my husband.
Well, we'll get there. Hold on.
We'll get there.
Hold on.
So we did. I feel like that really surmounts what legacy would be. Is that it's the return of previous characters to a new movie with a similar premise or narrative.
If I could, just to add one more rub, because it makes sense, but like to just like refine, like make it a little bit more specific, because that also feels like a reboot or a potential remake, right? And we, and if we want to like distinguish among those terms too.
What's the difference between a reboot and a legacy?
I think, and I'm not able to even coin sources the way I can with like other terms, like Manic Pixie Dream Girl was actually, I think, a coin or like a phrase used by. It might have been Nathan Rabin, but I'm not positive. But it was an AV Club writer who I didn't even do this on purpose.
Sure.
But for Legacy sequel, I think,
you to believe.
which again, we're gonna pull up honorable mentions at the end that date back like into the '60s. But I feel like it really kicked off in like around 2015. Right, because that's when you had things like Force Awakens, Mad Max Fury Road, like other big things other big names that were very clearly not just necessarily like next in line, but something that was trying to harken back to the original, right? And we were saying yesterday, like, oh, do you need original cast members? Do you need like, and I kind of just felt like, well, as long as you got some sort of, even if it's just conceptual or like lore or whatever, some kind of central conceit, like I kind of feel like that kind of counts more as a legacy sequel where you are really trying to maybe either not necessarily rewrite stuff or ignore stuff, but like you're trying to be like, hey, forget all the mess we made. Remember how good it felt the first time? Let's
nostalgia bait.
Kind of, yeah.
Nostalgia bait, but also like preserving said legacy.
I am very much like an apologist defender of that because I think it can be done well, and when done well, it's a home run. When done poorly, it is just such a bummer. But like we'll get into all of
But
them.
using those two in particular, I would almost classify Fury Road and Furiosa almost as like a reboot because it's like we're taking that pre-existing idea and operating inside the bounds of it. It's almost like Mad Max as a whole, the three movies were like a writing prompt. And it's like, all right, just build and develop a story with characters inside of this world. That would be a reboot.
Can we do this in like an ontological like evolution of the word way? Well, like
That's a big word for Elmo.
Not actually like evolution of a single word. But like, so okay, going back, like we had sequels, right? Sequel. Maybe you had
a prequel.
No, not even yet. Maybe you had a franchise, right? Maybe you had a Jason or a Friday or like Halloween, whatever. But that's like kind of a dirty word, and really like, is it in like the mainstream vernacular, or is that like a insider kind of industry term?
Sure.
Then Star Wars, I think, really makes prequel part of like a common. Like, people knew the word prequel now, whether or not you were a movie nerd or Star Wars nerd or what. Like, after the end of 1999, that was a thing now, right? So, okay. Sequel.
George Lucas showed up and blew our tits off with the Phantom Menace.
One way or another. Several directions those tits
He
would get
rewrote the playbook with Jar Jar Binks.
I have such a lovely memory of seeing that movie with my family in like an empty theater, and it just like I cherish that memory. But like me and my sister were not paying attention to the movie at all. Like we were just running around the empty theater at some point.
Yes.
Anyway,
We've all done that at least once.
a lot of confusing feelings about Star Wars, guys. Okay, sequel, franchise, prequel. And then, like, remake is certainly kind of, because there's remakes of, like, classics and, a horror, again, kind of leading the charge there a little bit. And so, okay, remake, but then reboots started happening. And like a reboot was a little bit different than a remake because it didn't have to adhere exactly to the same characters. Well, maybe the same rules, maybe the same premise, right? But
we're
not
rehashing
the same
first
characters.
movie. Yeah.
Maybe even the same archetypes, right?
Yeah.
Take Evil Dead, for an example, to not start spoiling our like list of stuff, right? But the 2013 Evil Dead, probably, it didn't like take off, I think, in the way that it meant to. It kind of was a slow burn in like critical and fan circles from what I could gather, like, and remember. Because I think the director was from Tom's River, which is nearby where I grew up. But that was something that, like, you had an Ash central figure, but it was not Ash. Like, it was very different,
Yeah, and I really do feel like horror leaned into the idea of the reboot at a certain point, which again we'll get.
Because that I think is the most inviting of. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not necessarily a remake where you have to do like, oh, okay, well, what's the new, same character, same named character. Okay, well, how different are they pivoting away from that? Like, that wasn't really, I feel like, admired until the idea of a reboot, was kind of like, oh no, it's more about reinvigorating the franchise. It's more about pumping fresh blood, trying to get it going again, whatever.
And using like the original, like I said, almost as a writing prompt for it.
And then I feel like after reboot, I mean, what would be next? Like, I feel like requel, when Scream 5 was happening, was kind of the next iteration of the terminology. Like, am I missing anything in between?
No, I think that is a good streamline.
Yeah, and then it's like that requel
and that didn't really
quickly turned into that legacy.
I feel like that was sort of like the camel that stroked, or whatever, the thing that like broke, the final nail in the coffin, whatever.
The camel that stroked the camel's back.
The camel that strawed the stone house of glass.
You stroked the camel?
I stroked a camel.
You did what?
Was that a camel spit?
Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry, it was loud.
Yeah, and it's like, I think it very quickly from that point forward, they were like, we understand this isn't doing so well, so like, what if we did a little bit of fan service? What if we bring back some of the faves?
Okay, so now I feel like Lego sequel has now kind of kind of come up to replace or be like the newest thing. 'Cause now it's like, okay, we're not just rebooting, like reinvigorating the franchise and doing different characters in the same kind of slots or archetype roles, but we're also bringing back original cast members, and that's something I feel like, or if not original cast members, like at least characters, because that's like Furiosa, that's Force Awakens. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had the cast, they had those central characters.
With that too, is I totally have like something, like not like a conspiracy theory, more just like a theory, that it's a way to just garner attention from audiences, not just in the way of, look who's in this movie, bam, go see it. But
well, you could be,
if you're rehashing, or like, because it's mostly horror, re-slashing. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah,
re-slash. Yeah.
Like, with them doing that, it's like, okay, well, we have the original fans of this franchise, we have original fans of this series, whatever. They're not going to come and see the new version of the movie because we have these new no-name actors in it, or like these new fresh faces that they're not used to. And people do get stuck in their ways sometimes, and they don't really like change too much. So this is like, I feel like it's the transition period to get the classic fans to the theaters, because like, oh, so-and-so is going to be back in the movie again. It's going to be so cool. But it's going to ultimately introduce you to the next crop of actors.
So I feel like the phantom that we have yet to name that's kind of fueling all of this is nostalgia, right? And like, people have a lot of different takes on that, whether or not it's useful, whether or not it's something that is,
it's a double-edged sword.
And then that's how I feel. Again, like a tool, like good or evil, whatever. It can be done well or poorly. But yeah, I feel like nostalgia is like what really kind of like is like, oh yeah, that's kind of just because you're really, that's what I think you're hitting on. It's like, oh well, how do we bring all the demographics in?
Because it's like, okay, kids of a certain age, once they're able to go see horror movies, because you should totally not see horror movies before you're 17.
Not unless you want to become interesting. Or develop kinks, whatever. Either way. Horror is great, because if you don't have enough real trauma in your life, you get to become interesting through good art.
You ate that. You ate that up.
Hell yeah.
This is something I've thought about before.
Quote him.
Quote and clip it.
It's actually on the record.
It is.
It is.
But no, I think, so then after, well, not after, but like the only other thing I can think of that is like, so one of the last examples here would be like, the one thing that I don't think has really been copied, which would be like New Nightmare. Right? Something that gets so explicitly meta as to actually use the cast members as themselves as
Like
as
the
characters.
double down meta.
Well, like, so using...
So, like, Scream 3
Meta
was a
sequel.
movie about it.
But it was
Oh,
fictional.
no, yeah, I'm
You know
saying
what I'm
there's
saying?
different.
So, like, that's even, like, that's the closest, like,
Yeah.
that was pushing it.
That's what
whereas
I'm
New Nightmare is, like, living...
That's what I'm
way
saying.
out,
The
you know,
closest
outside.
we got was that.
Wes Craven.
I was gonna say, as related as they are, yeah, let's not give credit to our patron saints.
But yeah.
I wasn't raised Catholic. What? Again, the trauma, the kinks, it's all being what? No.
It's all...
It all resurfaces.
Man.
Just kidding, Dad. It's all good.
So like, I feel like that really like that boiled it down very well as to what the terminology on those things like really it hits. Like you fucking nailed it on that.
Well, and I think it's just important to, establish those terms because they are what people use to describe and navigate all this, nonsense, for lack of a better, and I say
Whether it's
lovingly, of
industry
course.
term or just how the fan base talks about it.
And
like,
again,
for sure.
you just said the magic word. Like for me, like industry, like we are, there is that overlap, that like back and forth that you kind of have to acknowledge, for better or for worse.
and it's both sides of that you have to actually actively think about. It's like you have to think about the industry side and the film side and who's making the movies, who's producing the movies, who's putting the movies out there for us to consume, but also consulting the fan base because the fan base is the other half of that. You don't have a successful series without the fan base.
You want to talk about... go. I'm just going to go right in. You want to talk about fan base and like them being listened to and then allowed to enjoy it and like have it teased in your face the whole time? It's Bloodlines.
It is Bloodlines.
It's Final Decision Bloodlines.
Yes.
That's how you do a segue, folks.
That's well, no. When you say that, because like again, if we're going to talk about the one thing you talk about Final Destination, and the first three words that come to mind, at 99% of people are going to say log truck or logs or anything. Like, yeah, it was number 2.
I was gonna say Devin Sawa.
Can I interrupt really quick? Just really be
yeah.
relevant. So, just to plug, fellow culture websites, right? So, The Ringer is a pretty cool podcast network website that they recently, in the spring, did a millennial bracket that. It was pretty fun for me. And the writers and the readers of that website, but like, it just what I'm saying for the log thing, like people of a certain age, like if you're in traffic and you're behind anything that has the even just the shape of like logs or like pipes or whatever, that could be staring you down, like that's the first thing you think of. And like on that millennial like bracket thing, like one of the finalists I think was that just recognizing that scene and having like a faux phobia.
Just a visceral reaction.
Just
to
understanding and recognizing, So it is so iconic.
It's iconic, and like now we're going to talk about the movie. So if you haven't seen it yet, be warned.
So are we just spoiling because it's not as new?
Yeah.
When this is actually going to be.
It's not. It's definitely not as new.
I'm making timestamps as we go right now. So like, if
this is your Bloodline spoiler.
Okay.
And that's so funny because that's a perfect timing for it. So, again, talking about the logs, they tease the logs so much in Bloodlines. Like,
I love it when you tease the logs.
Don't tease the logs.
Don't
Haven't done
tease the
anything to
logs.
you.
No. The logs want to be teased. But like that's one of the things. Like they know their audience. They know we're going to see it, and they're just going to be like, and then like it's done. You think it's done. And then the last scene, what happens? The train gets hit, logs come shooting out, and the protagonist dies via log. It ends exactly how we wanted it to, subconsciously, and that's like just.
So this is like I feel like the right vehicle for that kind of fan service.
A log truck?
I didn't even mean to vehicle, but no, this is like the 6th movie in a horror franchise that has had
6 movies in 25 years.
Let's say peaks and valleys to be generous, okay? you know, or whatever. But
Yeah, I'll allow it.
there's also, I feel like this you know, over the summer kind of sparked a little bit of a debate about like, ooh, let's rank them all. Like, you know, what are the good ones, the bad ones? Not that there's, you know, good or bad in anything, but
Also, like that
favorites,
it
not
lit a
favorites.
Fire. It lit a fire for us because like we saw it was coming out, and then like all three of us, without consulting one another, just started rewatching.
Went back in.
And we were like,
So
"No, I'm in it."
to officially establish, like, I've seen them all now. I don't think I've seen the first two since they came out when I was in high school or whatever. So those I'm like less sharp on. But you know, with everything going on, I randomly started watching 3.
I believe they're all available on Tubi right now.
They were all available on HBO as well. That's what I watched them on a couple months ago. But like, I just started watching 3, and then folks came over to the house. We were having people over, and we ended up watching.
Folks.
We were great party guests because we just ended up watching.
We did. We dipped out of the
Back to back.
party and went and we did a triple marathon. We watched 3, 4, 5 back to back to back.
It's our wives' book party, and we'll watch a movie if we want. But John, our friend, joined us as well, and we watched we watched 3, 4, and 5 consecutively, and it was so much fun.
Shout out to John for his amazing
Enthusiastic.
moment. His amazing moment. Our friend John, who was watching this with us, John, if you're watching, I love you so much for this. We got done. I think it was 4, and all 3 of us are sitting on the couch like,
well, shit, we don't have that was kind of
yawning, and John just goes, "Fuck it, let it roll." We went.
Respect, yeah.
Time
it
to
is what I
rally.
wanted to happen.
So thank you for that.
Absolutely, no, and it was so much fun, and like it really brought us got me more excited for Bloodlines, which I ended up seeing in a completely empty theater with another friend of ours, who may be guesting in the future. But you know, it was just like the perfect movie in which to like laugh and talk and bullshit and just like. You know.
Which I think is the right viewing space for that.
I don't think I missed anything.
I couldn't go to an opening for a movie like this because I'm going to be sitting there cackling and talking shit the whole time.
And I'm typically someone that. Like,
And I'd be wallowing the person next to me because there's so many things that like I can't not look away. The beauty of it is you have to keep watching, however like it's gonna get. And like for me, you know me, you know me. There are so many scenes where
for the audience.
Yeah, okay.
locked in this basement for months. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I have visceral reactions to scenes in horror movies that I love, but like I'm gonna react. Maybe not audibly, but like I will. If you're next to me, wrapping myself around you, and you're my emotional support until the scene's done.
Bruises might happen. It's just something to accept.
And like I'll typically get a little precious about like don't talk when they're talking. Like, but like for a movie like Bloodlines, I think that's perfect. And also for, you know, fan service, nostalgia, whatever.
Yeah,
as long as it's done well and fun and like hits the not necessarily standards of like prestige film. Like you wouldn't judge it the same way you would judge like, you know, The Handmaiden or whatever.
Yeah, it's or like seeing Sinners or seeing Nosferatu, because like when we saw those two in
I feel
theaters,
like those are kind of nice halfway between because those are prestige genre. But
and like
this is just genre,
we sat and we were fucking silent. I think there may have been like 1 or 2 words shared between us during both of those movies, but for the most part, we're just like we're eyes locked on screen.
That's another one where like we were in like big. What would you say, Nosferatu and Sinners?
Yeah,
those were like hot, you know, bigger releases that a lot more people were in the theater for. Like, you know,
For sure.
makes a big difference.
yeah.
But
Like
no,
so you got like I'm fascinated that you got to see this in theaters, empty theater, one-on-one with a friend of ours.
Yeah,
And
it's been
then
out for
you
months.
saw it relatively close to open.
I think I saw a preview.
Oh, okay. You saw a preview. Okay.
That AMC Stubbs list, baby.
So I went ahead and used the Fandango account that I'm not signed into. Not my Fandango account, someone else's.
You also
And I got to see it at home, which is, I feel like the one-on-one is the way to watch these fucking movies.
Final Destination is a great, like, background movie.
You want to kiki. You want to kiki the whole time you're watching it because, god damn it, it's
not
funny.
It's not because you're, like, out of it and you're not pulled in. It's just, like... It's a ridiculous movie.
I want to hoot and
complimentary.
Holler. Yes.
Well, you can-
I
that's
want to
what-
hoot and holler. I want to have a good time.
You can get highfalutin with it, and like again, perfect background party movie. Like throw on a projector, right, big on a wall, something. people walking by, whatever. But like
I
it's
imagine
good because
going-
it's visual.
Yeah.
You don't like that's.
And also, you tune out of it.
This is a movie
and
you
then
can
you
mute
happen
and
to look
still-
over and a kid's getting squished by a piano. It's like, I want that.
yeah.
Also, cheered like a fucking madman. When that fucking kid got squished like a bug, I was like, yeah!
My first thought was like, holy shit, they went there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my
Killed
god.
a kid within the
With
first
a falling
10
piano.
minutes.
I was like,
barely a kid. He was barely human. We hated him. We hated him
They
immediately.
killed him like a fucking Tom and Jerry character.
You know how there's Save the Cat? Like, we know this concept, right? Save the Cat?
Yeah.
Where, okay,
Don't
so
fuck
this
with
is...
cats, don't fuck with the dog, yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a great general rule. But, like, anyone that might not be aware of, like, the Save the Cat rule in movies, like, you want to kind of early on establish for your, like, protagonist hero, like, a Save the Cat moment in which they are sympathetic because they're doing something
you mean
saving a cat or,
metaphorically.
out of a tree.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
something
I took
very
it quite
relevant.
literally, and I was like, yes.
We love
save the
animals.
cat.
Women and
Sure.
children first, but cats and dogs first.
No, it's just cats and dogs. And
I feel like that
cats and
kid
animals.
was like a hate the cat moment or like a fuck the cat moment where it's like you
Definitely.
want to not sympathize with this little piece of shit that we're gonna like pop like a balloon in like 4 minutes or whatever, you know.
No, we're gonna drop a fucking grand piano on his head because fuck that kid and his stupid bed.
Because he was chasing money, morals, message.
Because he wasn't listening to the authority
Lesson of the
figures
story.
who said, don't
But I was
throw
gonna
the
say,
fucking
much
penny.
like John Wick or something very action based, it is visual. Like it is, you know, and like that's the thing
for
that
sure.
you know, film, you know, cinema, capital C, capital F, are supposed to like traffic in. It's supposed to be different from other mediums because you
Cinema
can't just
with the silent F.
you could read a book, right? So you shouldn't have to read a movie, right?
Yeah.
You can, but you know, it's,
You're not
it's-
watching it for the dialogue.
It's a movie.
Oh, honey, I
because
read
it's a
every
moving
movie
picture.
I watch.
So like it's a
Just
moving
you wait.
picture. So if it can communicate its film language, right, in visuals and moving things, if you could do that on mute, you know what I mean? Like that's a powerful movie. So, you know, it might be
absolutely.
lowbrow, but something as silly as like John Wick or
Yeah.
stupid fat kid gets, you know, popped like a blood balloon, it still counts, you know what I mean? Like it still captures people's attention, it holds a narrative, it, you know, whatever.
It did its job successfully.
And that's the thing, like, good or bad isn't about how much money it made at the box office or even how many people saw it or how popular it's become in 40 years. It's did it hit what the creators wanted it to hit?
Yeah, and did
I feel like this
the
did.
audience reception do what they wanted it to do?
Well, again, that's...
Because I mean, I
yeah.
can't imagine anybody makes a movie going, "I hope they hate this."
Some people, I swear, it seems
I
like
want to
they
watch
think
the
that.
world burn.
Lars Van Trier.
There's definitely people... hey, say what
I
you will.
hope they hate this.
But he still is like putting effort in, you know, he's not phoning it in. And like
Yeah.
that's almost why like a 1.5 star movie is almost better than a like 3-star movie
Yeah,
sometimes.
and it's also being
It goes around just enough.
Well, because at least you're like, I mean, you might, so maybe not 1.5. For me, like 2, I'm not angry. 1.5, I'm starting to get like angry. So maybe like a 2-star movie is better than a
True.
3-star movie sometimes.
Yeah.
Because 3 stars is just like, well, that happened. And I am 2 hours older, you know, and it's just like, doesn't matter. But a
And
2-star movie,
it
you're
was
like,
an
I can see
interesting-
what you were trying to do. Oh shit, if only the cast was there, or if only the budget was there, or if only, you know, the script went through a couple more drafts, or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, that's where my like 2.5 out of 5
One of the
lies.
things about Bloodlines that I truly loved is the fact that they were able to walk that tightrope of being, because like the series, like the franchise itself has done this very well, with the exception of 4.
Which, okay, so what are we dinging 4 for right out the gate? We haven't even gotten into
Yeah, I was
like,
gonna
the
say,
sequence yet, but no.
We'll get into that. In a
Yeah,
second.
we can
so
now.
I feel like Bloodlines did a really good job, as well as the other ones in the series, of just like walking that tightrope of being camp and being self-aware, but doing it in a way that's going to come off as funny, as palatable, as good, as rewatchable. That's a hard fucking job to do. Like trying to do self-aware comedy.
Comedy is the hardest thing. I think it's comedy, horror, drama.
Yes.
Like just for like performers, then like action just kind of floats because they
And
all
I feel
can
like
be
even for like
action-based, but
storytelling, like yes, is it easy? I feel it's almost
timing-wise
easier.
though, and performance-wise, like comedy's the hardest
Yeah,
thing.
it is so much easier actually to like, I'm going to tell you a story that is going to make you cry.
And to structure it and engineer it like almost to a blueprint.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, it's a little bit harder for me to sit here and tell you a story that's going to scare you. And it's so fucking hard to sit here and actually tell a good joke.
It has to tap into primal stuff. It has to be like you're saying.
You're me.
Yeah, to do like you said, be visceral and have that immediate reaction. You know, dramas
Yeah.
get to be slow burns and cognitive and very intellectual, and you think about it, and that's where it gets its power. Whereas like comedy and horror and action, they have to like hit.
They got to work.
it really, it's almost like
There's a mark
live
to hit.
It's almost like how live theater is like its own thing, because like you can't, you only have that one opportunity or whatever.
Yeah.
Presumably.
And not dogging any of these genres at all.
No, and I love drama.
We're here to talk about horror, though, and that's why you're here.
Right. So I'm just trying to
Yeah.
respect.
I will say, in regards to like the right cast and all that, it's interesting when you look at all of the Final Destinations and like the relationships that each of the casts have.
Do casts matter in the Final Destination?
Well,
movies?
but it gives a different perspective. So like you have friends, or you have bystanders on a highway. You have
so like
high school people,
setups.
and then
Okay.
but like for Bloodlines, it's a family. It's all in
okay,
itself.
just like the character relationship.
It's more
not,
self-contained.
not actors.
Because I was
but,
gonna say,
like,
as much as I love Devon Sawa's kind of foray into our lives with that and Idle Hands, right? As much as I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead forever,
Sky High.
Can we name any other by memory people from this franchise?
Tony
Mary
Todd.
Besides Tony Todd.
Fuck.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead?
That's what, besides
Yeah.
her and Devon Sawa.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Ali
Never listened to me.
Larder.
No, you said Devon Sawa.
I'll give credit to Ali Larder.
You followed it up with Idle Hands, and I was
That's
like,
what
I
I'm
gotta
saying.
do the gag.
What was that?
I gotta do the gag for Idle Hands, and I stopped listening.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, I like.
Well, so we have 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5 are like whatever.
Okay.
And then, and I really enjoyed this
wait,
new one. But I
David
didn't recognize
Koechner.
anyone. Is
In
who?
5. David
Oh,
Koechner.
okay, sure. Great.
Okay.
That's one of our-
Actually, no, wait. 5 actually had a couple of bigger name people. If I
But like
remember
that's a character actor
correctly.
who I love, but like that's not a big name, you know what I mean? And he was not a
True.
big part. He was not a lead either, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like Devon Sawa, Ali Larder in 2, right? Mary Elizabeth Winstead in 3. Nobody in 4. Racist truck driver, racist lady, racist truck driver's wife, racist truck driver's
Racist
dog,
grandmother.
racist dog.
who could not love
And then
characters
I think
like
there was also one where it was like a stoner groundskeeper or something like that. I think they said like lawn mowing green man or something like that. It was literally
Honestly-
just the guy smoking a doobie.
There was
on
also
fucking-
the X-ray effect from the Fight Club video game on N64. Yeah, like, there were a lot of things in
that
in
was which
the
was that
Final
was
Destination.
4.
That was 4. That was
Yeah,
the end
sure
of 4.
was.
Which I was like,
It's like 15% of 4. A 78-minute movie.
Yeah, that whole movie was like, oh, what if we put
like 82
like
minutes, I
Mortal
don't
Kombat fatalities in the movie?
conceptually, I liked how it like showed the X-rays of like callbacks to all the things, but the ending, I was like, oh.
We're talking about horror and comedy as like flip sides of a coin. We all know the rule of 3, right, with comedy and like to a lesser degree maybe horror, right? Like they did it in the opening credits. They did it in the closing credits, and they did it for at least one of the sequences. So like that's
yeah.
like I feel like they did it
Oh,
too many
the
times.
Yeah.
I was like,
the
you leaned on
finale.
this so hard,
Yeah.
The finale was an X-ray moment, and that's when I was like, I would have been fine if it was just top to bottom or start and finish.
It was like one too many times for me. Not that it really matters. I
You
just
do know
wanted to-
what was start to finish and capped off very well and differently 28 years later.
What a beautiful, beautiful movie.
Did we have nothing else to say about Bloodlines? Are we jumping in then?
I think it hit the mark very well. It exists as a legacy because it's. Would I call it a legacy because of Tony Todd's existence
Yes.
in this realm?
Yes.
Yes.
And it also ties into the whole rest
It
of
puts
the...
a nice bow
Yeah.
and connects all stories together without explicit.
More like red string on a board.
Also, definitely
timeline.
qualified as a legacy sequel in terms of the releases, right? Because
Oh my god,
5,
yeah. 14 years.
so like that's a pretty big gap, right? And also, as much as we're like trading affections variously for the in between sequels, whatever. Like, people, we all agree the original's like, OG best, right? And then, like, people kind of feel like 2 maybe dipped. But everyone has some affection for 3, right? And then, like, 4 is, like, just a trash fest. And then 5 was kind of weird and interesting for as much as it
For
was,
sure.
Not anything
A
great.
nice twist.
This one has, like, production values and also was, like, kind of doing the callbacks and also doing, like, what we want from a Final Destination movie, which is something I wanted to kind of establish earlier, which is like, all right, so then how do we judge these things, right? Well, what do you expect from a certain thing? So from this, I was just looking for, like, goofy, characters, creative, crazy kills,
bloody,
interesting visuals, and like that's honestly kind of about it. Like
I
you
feel
give me
like
a few
that's
good Rube
everything that
Goldbergs,
you got. Yeah.
and I
sure.
feel like it check, but not in the kind of way where you're like, oh, look at them doing the checklist, how uninspired.
And that's a hard tightrope to
based-
walk.
And it's because this is a franchise that is specifically built on those things. You come to these movies for the Rube Goldbergs. You know what I mean? Like, if it were, I don't know, a different movie, a different franchise, a different story, where if you're coming to it for character, or if you're coming to it for plot, or if you're coming to it for cinematography, or you know what I mean, then you got to do those things well. But this is one where it's like you just got to do the gags, and like I really don't care about anything else.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really hard thing to do, is walk that line of like doing the same thing or trying something new, but still trying to keep it like for what the fans are looking for. Like fan service is a really hard thing to navigate. It's really fucking hard.
Fans
Because
are
if you were
fucking
too
brutal.
fan servicey, people are like,
It's cheap, it's exploitive,
You
it's
did
not
exactly
fun.
what I wanted you to do.
Or it's not
like,
specific enough, or too niche.
Or yeah, it's like
Then what do you want? I changed it. You changed it too much.
Not like that.
yeah.
No, but this I thought
This was a
towed the line
nice
well.
smooch on the forehead, classic Final Destination, but like,
Still that lowbrow good fun that we're
oh my
trying to
god,
get weird with.
Fun.
we talk about
That's
the
just
Just
the
fun.
keyword.
Yeah.
Whereas the keyword with Final Destination is fun. Like it's almost like you almost don't want to call it horror but you have to because it traffics in the same like building of tension and violence.
Death is
It's
the
more almost-
antagonist.
it's-
How more horror can that be?
It's almost more amusement park than anything else.
It is.
Whereas, segue, you know,
There we go.
we're coming to 28 years later, I think, for something a little bit different, a little bit more, dare I say, dirty word, but elevated, right?
Yeah.
Sophisticated seems a little too hoity-toity, right? But
We're
like,
gonna take our lowbrow hats off.
or not even take them off, but like, you know, like
I don't know,
where
we're
I
talking
don't
Danny
know.
Boyle.
I was struggling to come up with a good analogy, but like I always
Danny
talk
Boyle's
about
elevated.
I always talk about like fancy junk food, right? 20 years later, it's fancy as fuck junk food, right? Because it is a zombie movie. It's a dirty zombie movie. It's a violent zombie movie.
Are they zombies though?
Whatever.
We're not doing this.
I
They're
know.
zombies.
No, they're fucking zombies.
Well, you could argue in 28 days they're at least undead to some degree. It seems like. Because like they are persisting despite body like organ failure and shit like that. It seems, right? I don't know, but regardless, I was gonna say they're ripping spines. I don't care if they're zombies or not. It's dirty. You know what I
and
mean?
eating
It's grimy.
flesh and biting people.
But it's also in 28 years later, specifically. I mean, also 28 days. And unfortunately, I just did not revisit Weeks like I wanted to today. I watched something else instead.
I did watch the intro.
I watched it when it
segment
came
of
out.
Weeks recently. Again.
The intro is all like remembered. But whereas like Days certainly had its artistic moments, Years absolutely does that and then some, and isn't even just doing it in the same way. Where I'd be like Final Destination, if it was a simple like basic remake, and if it was fun and I was cheering, I'd be fine with it. If 28 years later was just like a carbon copy, I'd be a little disappointed. I'd still be rocking with it, but it'd be like a 3-star, not
Which
a
was the
5-star,
cool part
which
of
is
that.
basically what 20 years later was darn perfect.
It's fucking
like,
baller.
God,
it was
like,
fucking baller.
It was too British.
it was extremely British, specifically.
That's everything
With
I've
purpose.
seen
Wait,
about
really?
like
They're
every.
saying that?
Oh my god! When I talk to people
Are you
about
being- oh.
No. I genuinely didn't know that
genuinely,
people
when I
were
talk to
responding
people,
like that.
they were like, "I didn't like
Well,
it." It
hold
was
on. In the same way that like our dear, our dear Irish friends would be like too fucking Irish or it's too fucking British, like fuck that, because fuck them. Or is it saying too British, like I wish it was more American? Like what do you like?
I don't get it. Where's all the action?
Oh, British in that way. I thought you meant more explicitly British with all the
No,
Brexit,
because it was like that.
Knights,
Yeah,
identity, national identity.
Yeah,
stuff.
we're talking about national identity.
yeah, I was
Did
gonna
you
We're
just mean
talking
like it was
about
too
Brexit.
British, like it was
we're
too
talking,
hoity-toity?
We're talking
Well, like-
about pop culture too with Jimmy Savile. Like, there's shit that Americans do not know about. That it's like
It's outside of the dome of what we know. They know and the cosmos of.
So this movie does, require a little bit of homework in terms of being a bit more international, God forbid,
sure.
American audiences, right? But
yeah, I still don't know what a Teletubby is. Never heard of her.
even for that being in the trailer, like, and the opening, still arresting.
Still fucking
It's
hit.
still
Holy cow.
the
But so,
cathedral.
Well, hold on. We're hitting so many things, and I'm getting overlooked. So I want to touch on all these things. So when you say people thought it was too British, you are kind of saying that it was just a little too slow, not
British
actiony
sensibility?
enough? That whole first act is like an action movie unto itself. But go on.
I didn't pry too much into it, but the gist that I got was like about like it was. I'm gonna paraphrase it.
Stiff upper lip.
It was very strong narrative. Not as much zombie action. Like there was action, but it wasn't like
There wasn't enough.
yeah. It's not Dawn,
not Romero.
It's not Dawn of the Dead. It's not
Romero. It's not Legion of Slow
Right.
Walkers.
Yeah.
It is not it's a little bit of numbers game, but less so in this new
Right.
environment.
Or
also,
the
like-
reboot of fucking Zack Snyder's version of Day of the Dead, or Dawn of the Dead rather. It's they're fast zombies, and it's like that's what we
It does
have in
share
this.
that,
But it's
yeah.
like
But that's also
When we see fast zombies,
we're
we're-
existing in a world where it's like they're already for 28. It's like, or for 28 years, like we're existing in a world where it's like people had to deal with this already.
They exist and we exist.
We are years later. Yes.
If we're pushing a little bit past like just initial reception of the movie, can we maybe real quick, just for I feel it feels silly, but I know we're trying to make this all accessible, right? So just for establishing things, right? In 2002, right, we had 28 Days Later, directed by Danny Boyle, but also just as importantly in this case, written by Alex Garland, right, who has become a filmmaker director in his own right. But for several years, he was mostly like a script doctor and like a novelist, and also like just a screenwriter. But so whatever. Okay, so that was 2002, and then 5 years later, I don't know who the rights belong to, if it was a studio or production company, whatever. I didn't do that research, but we got 28 weeks later in 2007, which don't worry, we've done the math for you. That would be like about 6 months after 28 days later, which would be, of course, about a month after the initial outbreak, right? So it's 7 months into the outbreak. Doesn't really matter because 28 years later, I'm pretty sure ignores that. That's what I've been hearing, but again, I didn't watch Weeks, so I don't know how much detail that was established there was ignored in years. Doesn't matter. Because again, whereas that was not written or directed by the original team, Years is, right? And I'm very interested in the Bone Temple.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Bone Palace.
I want to say Bone Tower.
Tower Temple. Tower for the Annihilation Alex Garland connection. But Nia DaCosta will be directing that one, but it's still written by Garland and Boyle, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So whatever, that'll be really interesting. But so again, since 2007, we haven't gotten a peep out of this franchise. No TV shows, no nothing else, no like one-offs, no brand direct-to-video stuff, which is not something
Which
we
is
can
not a
say
negative.
for
Which is not a negative.
the next franchise we're going
They
to be
said,
discussing.
let's wait until we're ready and we're going to do the fucking thing. And they fucking did. They delivered so well. This movie had drama. This movie had tension and horror. This movie had fucking awesome,
Gore.
tangible, physical gore.
So much gore.
So much.
Friend of ours who's a horror fan but like loves animals and is not necessarily about extreme, I don't know, whatever, was like, hey, I'm really excited for this, like, should I go watch? And I was like, yes, absolutely. Understand though that you're gonna see some animal spines.
Entrails become the X-trails.
That as well. And
Oh yeah, the around the tree.
the
Yeah.
infrared shots too, like
The infrared shots were cool, like the at night thing. Like you could tell that they took the time and effort to film this the way that they filmed it, and it just, even if you're not a film snob and you're not somebody who's like, oh, I like elevated like movie viewing, this is accessible. You
So-
get into it and you go, this is something.
This is why I love my highbrow junk food, because again, accessibility. Even someone who's never been to film school will notice, right, the effects. Like it'll hit them. It'll be like, wow, why does it look fuzzy? Is that on purpose? Yes, it is. You know what I mean? Back with O2, just when it was all digital or whatever. This now has, not the same thing, but like it has, people may or may not seen some of the coverage of the behind the scenes stuff in which this was shot on not just an iPhone, but like
Several iPhones.
dozens of hundreds, I don't know, I forget the number, but
millions of iPhones.
Endless amounts. That'd be terrible. But no, like
the setup looked so rad.
Single shots would have like a couple dozen iPhones like in a semicircle to capture like a lot of. Again, I'm not going to pretend to understand.
Like fucking like 0.5 seconds worth of a scene.
But it felt like a more gritty bullet time from The Matrix. You know what I mean? Or just like something like a lo-fi. I don't know. But like doing panorama stuff. But it was really, really, really interesting how you could like give a small child, not that a small child should ever watch this, but like someone who has never seen even a lot of movies.
It's a coming of age story.
Or just a person that hasn't watched even a lot of movies. Forget about not like going to film school.
This is 100%. It's not some obscure French existentialist film from the 70s that you really just. You gotta check it out, man. It'll change your whole.
It's not just some boring drama with a bunch of pretty ladies smoking cigarettes or whatever.
If you want to watch it as like I just want to watch a scary movie with some zombies, it has that. But if you also are looking for something that's a little bit higher than what you're normally watching, like if you're used to your Final Destinations and stuff like that, this is a step up from it, and you can still get into it.
And that's why I think horror and action are so cool, because that is what I think does the most work to like bring the most in.
Yes.
Because
1,000%.
it has the gore 20 years later, has the gore effects, has the action, but also has the heart, has a little humor, has the plot, has the adventure, has the political commentary, much like the original in terms of the whole military presence, which again gets revisited.
We had and it was
so
like,
it's still doing the original hits and then some. It's like this is why.
If you want to take it that way too, it's like this movie was very British.
As well, it should be.
But like in a way, because it was made by British people, and it's like no, we're gonna like talk about like
during
stuff
the moment
like,
of the collapse of empire. So it all
we're gonna talk about Brexit. We're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about that. And it's like oh no, that fucking works though. And if you aren't privy to that information, the movie still fucking works.
It does still work. Yeah,
you don't need to have insider knowledge about something.
Because when we were watching, I didn't think immediately of Brexit, but I did like feel very much a connection between like all of the archery insert shots, right, and all the night imagery with the on horseback and charging into battle, very Crusades-ish, right, but also very British because it's very imperial, right? The Crusades, it's we're killing people because they don't belong to our they don't agree to our ways or whatever.
They have their own little Camelot.
They're doing their own thing that contradicts us or whatever, our power structure, blah blah blah. It doesn't matter, but like that and the whole coming of age thing with the father-son thing, where it was again. Spike, so again, this movie, other people have said, so I won't spend much time on it, but it's like a real beautiful 3-act structure in terms of pacing, right? And that whole first act is very much the adventure of, father and son go out and have their adventure to like give that coming of age moment for the boy.
You've trained, we're gonna go do now.
But the think of it, and spoilers, right?
Yeah, we're deep.
Spoiler warning, here it is, 3, 2, 1. Spike does not appreciate how much his father is, Aaron Taylor Johnson is dressing up. The fact that they barely survived that adventure, right? And that, I think, is the schism, and that, I think, is, like, the inciting incident that, like, of course, brings you through Act 2 and 3, right? And, him taking his sick mother to go back into this, wild land to seek out the doctor that could maybe help her, who is, in fact, orange, iodine covered, Ralph Fiennes. I lived my whole life calling him Ralph Fiennes. And I find out it's a Rafe Fiennes, and I'm just embarrassed. So, but anyway, so that's like it in a nutshell. But like, God, this movie gives you so much, and like it gives you the fan service, but it also gives you this like high drama, this amazing acting, this incredible writing, these beautiful monologues.
And when we say fucking high drama, beautiful monologues, like.
We're talking
to describe to the people at home when we saw this movie in theaters, there was sniffles throughout the group. There was looks around to one another to make sure we're okay, and there was actual tears. There were tears that were happening in the theater. Like we were actively like sniffling and crying watching.
I'm proud to say I was crying during if you've seen the movie, it's like that moment with Mom. And like I was just feeling my feels. And Glenn, like a fucking gentleman, a knight of old, just hey man, you're good. I'm like, yeah, I am good. And like it was awesome. And like I appreciated that so much.
Which in turn made me cry, and then I started crying, and then we're all.
And then I'm just sitting there like, these fucking babies.
Fucking nerds. And then you said 2 for flinching and hit us in the nuts. Yeah. Boom boom. Like it was rapid fire. And I was impressed, but it hurt.
Claudio's a jock.
Emotionally.
I put them both in lockers. I could just still hear them sniffling.
But truly, what else could you ask for in a movie, ask for in a piece of art, ask for in a sequel, ask for in a Lego sequel? You know what I mean? Like,
and then we got like the last 5 minutes, which was fucking Power Rangers, bro. Why are people upset about this? Jumpsuit Power Rangers.
Again, too British. They
didn't know. They didn't
why
know.
shouldn't it be British?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, if you
But the fall civilization. Fuck
And
the
I-
British, fuck
and I
Empire,
understand-
fuck
there
America.
has to be like that's where I'm like I wanted to chime in earlier when you're like you can go to this completely like unaware. I'm like I feel like a little just a crumb.
The
of, like,
last 5 minutes is the only thing that I think. If I'm gonna dock this movie for anything, the last 5 minutes is the only thing that kind of requires a little homework, which I know we've said previously. Some people don't like that. I don't mind it.
Oh no,
I love seeing a movie and going, ooh, what was that about? I'm gonna go home and look at
for sure.
Well, and again, like you were saying earlier, even if you don't know the details or explanations, like, and even if it hits you weird, it hits you. Like, it still has an effect that can, like,
It evokes.
You were
doesn't
just as
necessarily
gobsmacked
break-
as Spike was in that moment. He was like, what the fuck am I looking at?
I was sitting there like, oh,
So it doesn't-
baby.
One,
It doesn't necessarily
two,
break.
fucking goo.
It doesn't necessarily break the narrative. And like again, you can figure it out afterwards or whatever. And again, this is explicitly part 1 of hopefully 3.
Yeah.
So like we're kind of meant to understand there might be a little bit of a cliffhanger or
Yeah.
whatever. But again, you can if you hate it that much, then stop watching before it happens, and it's a perfect movie without it.
Yeah.
If that's how you feel, I love the ending.
But I'd also say
I loved
like
it. I loved it. And we also got
research-
Jack O'Connell.
I was gonna say
We got
Jack O'Connell.
2 good movies in one
He's
fucking
back,
year.
baby.
Adam Sandler's
But like the little bit of research that I would recommend is just watch the original.
Yeah.
Because like if you sit with the original and go into it, like it feels more.
You want to hear something cool too?
Oh boy.
I heard a theory. So in the first movie, you had.
Oh, okay. Wait, are we going to Theory Corner?
Well, you got Cillian Murphy, Killian Murphy, Cillian. Kaylee's gonna kill me for this
I'm
one.
embarrassed.
Yo, that's so funny.
Make sure to crucify me in the comments.
Killian.
Killian.
I thought-
Okay. So
I had to look up the pronunciation.
Mr. Murphy.
Yeah, all due respect.
If you're nasty.
Someone else we love.
So he's
I was
like
gonna
in a
talk
coma,
about Sunshine.
wakes up, and he wakes up after the outbreak has already taken place, but he's oddly unaffected by the virus itself. Somebody posited the reason that he is not been affected by the rage virus is because while being in the hospital and having a brain injury, they have to do CAT scans and MRI.
Yeah.
One of the things used in doing that is they inject contrast sometimes to see different levels or to get different imaging for your brain. Contrast sometimes is barium, sometimes is iodine. So he may have had several scans leaving trace amounts of iodine in his blood, making him not susceptible to the rage virus. Very similar to the way that our Dr. Ray Fiennes was
that's
covering
neat.
himself in iodine in the third movie.
fun
And I went, now you may be onto something there.
I honestly got always.
That's good.
I always wrote it off as luck, though. You know what I mean? So like again, in
Very
2000
Walking Dead.
He was so lucky.
It is walking. Yeah, it is definitely. I forget which
He's
came
so
first.
lucky.
Rick. Because
Was the-
he wakes up in the hospital.
Was the comic before 28 Days Later?
I don't know.
I can't remember what came out first. Regardless, I was
Yeah.
just going to say that, again, but in 2002, we didn't know about 28 weeks or years later. So, like, the whole iodine thing doesn't matter in 2002. So, again, like...
It's just
and
clever writing.
Well, I was just going to say, like,
I
I wrote it off in 2002 as, good luck. Or he was in, you had a small private room that no one, the door happened to be closed and locked. Whatever.
Yeah.
He got lucky.
Yeah.
And, like, you can give it that explanation, the movie still works.
Or it's that he's got plot armor. Like, because I understand that,
Well-
because sometimes you do need to have a character with some kind of plot armor.
Okay, but to a degree, but like plot armor, I consider like really like a criticism, like not just like the name of an archetype necessarily, but more of like a
Really?
Yeah,
you live,
no,
you
it's a
live
criticism.
because of.
Oh
yeah.
no!
So
to
I
me, it's
wouldn't-
almost like lore or mythology at that point. It's like this hero exists, and
fate?
this hero exists, and we
But
don't
if
know
your
why.
story isn't explicitly about fate, then it feels
Yeah,
lazy.
it's a
That's
a
like
lot
a
of double-edged
criticism.
swords.
But
in,
again,
like,
that's just
tropes of
me.
movies.
That's just how I've always.
Oh, we're talking about swords. 28 inches later, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, baby, I've been waiting for this.
Oh, and that's all we're gonna say about that.
Yeah, listen, I was just like,
If you know, you know.
yeah, and that's it.
Keep going. Fuel for the fire. Were you waiting for us to talk about dicks?
So with that, like, so that whole movie, like, I couldn't tell, like, when it was supposed to take place within the year.
28 years.
The original,
well, it was obviously like 28 years. But, like, I was trying to figure out, like, when, because it was, like, it was aesthetically such a beautiful film, too.
Oh, okay.
Like, the landscape shots of, like, in 28 years later, the landscape
You're saying
shots.
when did it take place?
What time of the year
What
did
time
it
of the year?
actually-
Because I can definitely tell you it wasn't summer, baby. That's a terrible segue.
Oh, shit.
Because Spike knows what he did last summer. I can tell you what I did last summer. I saw good movies.
Whoa.
This summer,
Whoa. The first two movies are a part of the summer series. May, June, July, baby.
Okay.
But any closing statements on that if we're ready?
if we're ready to move on, I'm good to move on. Go see 28 Years Later. See it in the theater if you can. It's a fucking great
Not a
movie.
legacy.
I had an energy strip, so I'm just like flying. I don't know if I covered everything, but like,
Yeah. Now, for folks at home,
I
what
was
would we
sleeping.
call this?
What do you-
Legacy, sequel.
oh well, I mean these are all.
It's obvious.
It's a sequel.
But like because it exists in the realm, we have rules
And
that
despite what people think, Mr. Murphy is not in this movie
he
as
is
as a
confirmed in number 2, but not in. Confirmed. Yeah. He
Mr.
appears
Murphy
in the
is
Bone
not in the
Temple.
third movie. 28 Years Later does not have Cillian Murphy in it.
So would that be the deciding factor of what breaks it
Yes.
away from a legacy and make it just a pure sequel?
Well, I mean, it kind of feels like, you know, like all Scotch is whiskey, but not all whiskey is Scotch. You know what I mean? Like, so
Right,
yeah,
right.
it's. I mean, it's obviously a sequel. It's
Like
also
the champagne of beers. It's named after the region. Ow!
but it's also the first. It's also the first of a new trilogy, so it's a reboot. But it's also like taking place within the universe. Like it is called 28 Years Later, so it is the same timeline as the original, even if it's ignoring the middle, you know, 20 weeks, whatever. So like that makes it Legacy-quel for me, which Legacy-quel is already a sequel, a reboot.
It checks all the boxes.
Not necessarily a remake, but like, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, if we're getting into the qualifications, the only other thing I'd say on 28 Years Later is just like how much I loved not only all the like, you know, confronting death stuff, which it always hits home for me, and all the coming of age stuff, which I think is very much connected.
Yeah.
I've always considered like entering adolescence the same thing as like having your quarter life crisis, having your midlife crisis, just like confronting mortality and death in any way whatsoever.
Yeah.
Basically just trying to like, how do I make meaning out of my existence? Is like, you know, where
Existentialism, yeah.
and honestly, like I felt that way at 13. Like, and I think most people do, but I don't think they have the language for it, unless maybe they're raised like philosophically or religiously. But even religiously, you're not going to have the same terminology, and like I think there's a lot of confusion there. But that's the separate podcast altogether.
Yeah, they're not British enough.
No, I am never.
When you're faced with your mortality, you need to dig down
Stiff upper
deep
lip.
and say, Tuesday, isn't it?
carry on. No, I'm never going to be supporting the British in any way whatsoever.
Before
I've X'd my British heritage. I'm only Irish. I'm now half Irish, not a quarter. But no.
Hell yeah.
No. I was just gonna say though, I just with like that thematic connection, but also the whole. So in 28 days, like they're obviously shit on the military, right? And militarism in general, and the military-industrial complex, you know, at large.
Yeah.
And now in this one, we get a little bit of that of like, oh, look how stupid the military is, but it's much smaller, much shorter, much more condensed. It's secondary or tertiary to the whole, insert shots thing, which I noticed again them doing in Sunshine, which I hadn't rewatched in like 20 years almost. But that was a fun rewatch recently. But in 28 years, you have again like the anti-military, anti-national identity based on like shitty imperialism tied into that whole like coming of age, manhood, masculinity thing. Again, like, you know, arrows and soldiers and crusaders and boys becoming men and you know, sons triumphantly when he's just like, no, it was not like that. We barely survived.
Yeah. I missed my shot.
Yeah, I
Civilization
fucked up. Yeah.
is not, you know, the story of man conquering all.
No,
it
it's
is us
about
barely
owning up-
surviving
It's about
through
owning up to
cooperation.
your mistakes. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, taking responsibility, not having ego, which is the exact opposite of waving a flag, you know, or whatever, in a jingoistic kind of, you know, xenophobic kind of way. So anyway, I just love that, you know, again, apologies to 28 weeks later, but that, you know, the team behind 28 years was so able to, like, hit all the all the like lowbrow stuff, but also take it to the next level while also revisiting their own stuff. Like it was just a perfect storm for me.
Yeah, I laughed, I cried, I giggled, I was scared, I was tense the entire time. You guys fucking nailed it. Like it was a good movie. It was just a good fucking movie.
And whereas like, you know, Bloodlines is fun, solid, popcorny, whatever.
Yeah.
This
28 years is highbrow, lowbrow.
Not to make us sound
prestige. It is maybe best of the year.
Yes.
So you got middle, you got high.
So
wait, before
we had
and then you drop.
Before we go there.
I was gonna say we had our Budweiser and then we had our bourbon.
Before we go there.
For me, some single malt, some real nice smoky
Maybe
scotch.
good mezcal.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, no, yeah.
Before we go there.
Then we're gonna get some Malort.
28 days later is streamable on Pluto TV. 28 weeks later is streamable on Hulu. I'm gonna give it I'm gonna just jab for a little bit and for like 3 seconds. Okay, now Final Destination series is streamable on Tubi -4. Number 4 is on like Max or something like that.
4 had to be separated.
Literally,
they said
everything's on
at arm's
Tubi
length.
except that. Okay, now that we know where to
We
stream
get to
them.
make fun of the fact that they tried to rebrand 4 because it was originally
The Final Destination,
which was like the reverse of what Fast and Furious did, I think.
Yeah.
Or the same thing.
I'm still waiting for Final Destination 7 Tokyo Drift.
Which takes place between 3 and 4. Sorry.
Gosh.
I'm yelling into this mic so much.
2 Final, 2 Destination.
8 to 7, I don't know.
It's just gonna be Final 10.
Honestly.
Two lines. But so that brings us to
let's take our
rock bottom.
our rock
Bottom.
our definitive shot of Malort.
Okay.
So again, I didn't expect
bad
everything
taste.
that 28 years gave us, you know what I'm saying? But like, it delivered and then some. This, and Bloodlines hit on exactly what I think it should have hit on. It did its job. It did its job, Bloodlines. And 20 years, above and beyond, you know, A++. I know what you did last summer, 2025, did not even understand the assignment a little bit. And you know what? I'll give it to the team behind them, and I don't mean to shun on them because there are bits that like I enjoyed and laughed at, even like ironically maybe or whatever. But like I will appreciate parts.
Why are you looking at
But
me
it
when you
dropped
say
the
that?
ball.
He knew who to look at.
But and again, case in point, even if I'm like giving it grace and being generous, when I looked to my right and saw my friend Glenn as horizontal in his seat as I was for Bring Her Back, a movie that like killed me in a bad way, and this I think Glenn also killed you in a bad way, much as I have just done to you. I'm so sorry for that PTSD. Are you all right? Did you fall asleep again, being forced to pay attention to what were their names? I didn't know any of these people.
How dare
If I'm being honest,
Not Sydney
I don't
Sweeney
remember
was funny
a single
sometimes.
fucking name for that movie.
Not Ryan Phillippe was funny sometimes, and that was about it. You know, like
It's Sydney Sweeney, because she's not Sydney Sweeney.
Firstly, it's
I feel
Stevie.
bad because she did make me laugh eventually. Like I got into it eventually, but like it still was plagued
How do
by
you not
such
know
terrible.
Danica,
Alright.
my girl?
Danica, right?
Diva on.
I only knew the one person's name is Teddy. Because they said Teddy like 90 times in the opening.
Did they say
Teddy was
97?
Teddy.
Oh,
Teddy, get out of the
Teddy's
street!
your dude.
Did
Teddy, get out of the street! Teddy, stop messing around! Teddy, no!
Glenn, would you say that they said Teddy 97 times in this movie? Maybe 1997 times?
Probably something close to that.
If I had to hear the year 1997 one more fucking time,
All right.
I was gonna like go to the bathroom seriously and just like take a walk and be like, this is nuts.
Take a lap.
So I'm gonna
For
go on
real,
record.
cool off.
I'm gonna go on record on this
boy.
one. It's a newer movie, and I understand that. We paid money to go to the theaters to see it. Support film, support theaters. Go see movies and film in a theater, whether or not it's good or bad.
Sticks, but I didn't pay money.
Go
to see this.
have fun. Go to a theater, please.
Oh yeah.
I had him.
With that being said, the nice part of my review, I am not the intended audience for this movie.
Okay, who is?
The other side of so my thought is that this is
Just
very
younger
similar.
than us?
Well, yes, it's very similar to something like Bodies, 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 where Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is not a movie made for me.
I could vibe with that though. I saw like I understood what they were going for. I could see it and I appreciated it.
Yeah.
I like was with it way more than
I feel like it's for younger audiences. It's for the teens going to theaters that can go see like PG-13 or R-rated movies now. That being said, I don't want you guys to
still poor though.
Yeah, I don't want you to take it as like I think you deserve less than, because this movie was fucking less than.
Kids and tweens deserve good shit.
They wrote it with like Gen Z in mind and didn't deliver a fucking thing to them.
Well, okay, but did it even feel like it was actually tailored to them, or was it like a copy and paste?
It
This is
felt
what
like
the
they were
kids lingo.
trying to.
Okay, so that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like,
It had that AI script kind of vibe where it was like, "Hey, ChatGPT, tell me how a Gen Zer talks."
now I'm afraid that just everything sounds like that to me because I am ancient. You know what I mean?
I
You
was
know that
worried
Simpsons
about that.
meme where it's like, "Am I out of touch?" No, it's the kids. That's what
Do
this.
I know that meme? yeah, I know that meme.
Oh no,
That's-
I'm over here. Old man yells at cloud.
No, it's the,
wait, though.
kids who are wrong.
Wait, can we rewind really quick to Bloodlines, to my favorite kill, which is, I kept saying to you guys, but I'm saying it for the pod now, so similar to The Simpsons man hitting groin with football during the like Simpsons America's Funniest Home Videos parody where, you know, old Mole Man, whatever, is just hitting, you know, of course. But then the kill in Bloodlines where, as per the protagonist, like, calling her shot, a chick gets hit in the head with a football, which knocks her into a like standing garbage can, which is then, you know, of course, put into a garbage truck and then squish, squish, squish. But anyway,
That was so
Just,
fucking
You know,
Simpsons
but
of it
see,
all
that
made
was
me-
you had to pad
Sorry.
that out because I needed some like I needed
You're
something
welcome.
here. Because talking, so that was the good part of my review, and like I was saying, I do feel like this talks down to a younger generation. This is people making movies going, oh, the kids are gonna love this.
But
and
she
it's
was wearing
fucking terrible.
But she was wearing ankle socks with her strappy black shoes.
They
Isn't
were
that
the
enough?
ugliest shoes I've ever
But it
seen,
was
and I will
90s.
go on record saying that.
But it was 90s, Glenn. Isn't that enough?
no, it's not.
It was 1997.
The other side of my review, though, is I have nothing nice to say about this movie. There was nothing redeeming for me, and I did not like it.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh wait, I have one
Was
nice.
in this movie,
I
yeah.
have one
So-
nice thing to say.
Glenn and I. Okay, well, you.
I have
finish.
one nice thing to say about this movie.
I have more nice things, but go on.
And spoiler.
Yeah, we've.
Spoiler.
That's been.
Oh yeah, I mean we're in the
Okay.
we're in the soup.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. The one nice thing I have to say about this movie, Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Okay. We can
Yes.
agree on that.
Buffy showed
you
up, and I loved
breeders.
her. Huh?
I'm sorry, you're gonna disrespect Buffy? Please. Wow. Please.
I was gonna be like, yeah, the dream sequence was really nice. And I'm like, I know what y'all are.
No, but that
The
is
dream
why.
sequence was cool. That was the only cool moment of that fucking movie.
It was literally.
Well,
It was literally the only sequence.
Whoa!
Thank you. And that was who was that?
Okay, one of
Teddy.
two.
Who?
Teddy.
Who?
Teddy.
Oh. Teddy, no!
Teddy.
Hyper, no!
If I
Daddy
had
got
7
yelled at.
beers in me, 8 maybe, 9 probably.
Maybe like a moonshine or two.
Yeah. And a hook man came at me, and I just went, boom. You bet I'm gonna go, woo!
Which was.
I wanted that scene to go on longer, but it didn't.
It didn't.
It went nowhere, honestly.
And that was a callback to the original, right? When Ryan Phillippe had like a cast or something, and he fucking hit the slicker dude,
I
the
believe so,
fisherman,
yeah.
right? So this movie again was definitely trying to like adhere to the original, but this was a case of like bad fan service. This was a case of doing it cheaply. This was a case of not earning it. This was a case of it being very hollow. Like it looked the part, but there's nothing going on under the surface, right?
Yeah, they had a concept and didn't fill out the rest of the script. They were just like, vamp it. I don't know.
God, I don't even know if there was a concept. Like this was difficult to pay attention to for me.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, like, we're kind of just dumping on this movie.
Yeah, let Paula
Before-
Abdul come into this.
Before you
We'll
Paula
dump.
Abdul.
We'll dump.
Before you Paula Abdul.
Go dump, girl.
Simon had to do his thing, and then Randy had to do his
Let
thing.
me Randy it for a moment because Paula.
That's all I'm saying, dog.
Dogs.
God.
All my dogs. No, so the dream sequence was not just...
That is such a dated reference, I'm just not realizing.
I am a dated reference.
Am I out of touch?
Guys, so with the dream sequence, it wasn't just the Sarah Michelle Gellar of it all, which would be fine if it was, because we love Buffy, and we love Sarah Michelle Gellar. But it was interesting because it was doing creative things. It was getting visual. You know what I mean? When she started bleeding from her crown or whatever,
Oh, yeah.
that was the coolest goddamn
And
shot
then
of the
she
whole
started
movie.
rotting as she was speaking.
That was a
to
little
her.
CGI heavy for
It
me.
was a little CGI heavy, but the
I-
concept was there. And that was more concept than the rest of the
And it
film
was literally the
fucking had.
last like 5 to 10% of that sequence. The whole scene of like a character engaging with the
The
ghost,
trope of...
literally engaging with the character. You know what I mean? Like that was getting kind of meta. That was kind of piercing the veil. That was getting weirdly visual. You know what I mean? Like that was interesting. There was stuff going on. It was silly and stupid and an excuse to have Sarah Michelle Gellar because we couldn't sell tickets without it. We were all cracking up when that shit started happening.
We started
We were
snickering.
brothers with the people
Yeah, I
in
was
the
gonna
row
say we
down
started
from us.
snickering, and then the
'Cause
people
we were
down the row started
all
laughing,
cracking up.
and then we started laughing, and then the people behind us started laughing.
We were the brave ones that were saying "fuck this," and everyone joined. But okay,
God.
so it was interesting
Everyone but Claudia.
visually as well as SMG. But Paula, what else?
I threatened to end it so many goddamn times watching this movie.
You truly did.
I have been threatened that I cannot give this movie any more than a 5 out of 10.
One of our fellow ghouls, yes, absolutely.
Yes, we had a guest join us who loves slashers, so he was on board for this. And every time you were slinking into your seat, I'd turn to him and he's like, "I hate this," and I'm just like, so like.
I only just met this gentleman the other day, but like I felt like we had very much aligned on certain.
Oh
things.
yeah,
Foxhole Brothers.
I was happy.
what it
I
was.
was like, that was wonderful.
I felt
That's
like
what
his
happens.
eyes rolled and my eyes rolled. Like,
When you experience trauma like that firsthand, you
You're
can't help.
bonded,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're bonded for life.
Speaking
We'll
of
see you in a year.
Yeah,
the trauma bonding in the movie
veterans,
and outside
veterans
the movie.
here.
You know what? You know what? When I was in high school, I had to read The Sun Also Rises, a novel by Ernest Hemingway, a book that is fairly long, and that halfway through I was like,
Old Ernie?
fuck this book. It is so boring. But then I realized, because the teacher told us what the themes were, ennui, a feeling of pointlessness, not feeling as though you have a home, it's about an expat in Spain, you're kind of meant to feel bored. You're meant to feel aimless. You're meant to kind of not have any kind of direction when you're reading the book. You were experiencing the same feelings as the characters, and that blew my mind, right? So like, if that was what the movie was trying to do,
Dude, that's so extra if they were.
By creating-
There's no fucking way they did.
How do you know?
The
How do you know?
intended
Trauma
response was to have Glenn go, ooh!
they wanted
How do you
us
know? How
to
do you know,
share the trauma bond, much like the characters did.
So I already know who he's gonna fucking do. Just,
It was a bad movie. It was bad.
dang, how do you get your knees like that? Okay, so
So if it wanted us to feel the same dread as... No, I'm sorry. Go on.
Falling out of that
Kinda,
chair
so
was
so
so
again.
smooth.
It's not about money. It's not about, seats, butts and seats. It's about, did it hit the things that they wanted to hit? But like,
So-
I think all they wanted to hit was box office, and
Or
they're
backs
not.
and seats, really. is
I
what it
mean,
was for me.
we talked about that briefly after the movie. That like this felt like cash grab, and like
Which I don't think it's going to do.
You said that.
I did
You
clock
said-
it.
So do you feel like it was a cash grab? Do you feel that we're being too harsh? Because this was also, by the way, the lowest rating I've ever heard you put a number on.
I am
One of the
literally
good things was that I knew that that my scale, my meter, has a bottom.
And you
Bottom.
also, but no, you need that, because then the top is meaningless if you don't have.
I was
like, a
literally
low.
saying the same thing to Chell. I was
Yeah.
saying the exact same thing to Chell when I got home.
So
I'm a nice critic. I try to find the good in all movies.
No, not even nice, because nice is a bullshit adjective. You're generous. No, you're generous,
Generous,
and you
yeah.
you are appreciative of every
Yes.
level of craft.
Yeah, because it may not be my cup of tea,
but you appreciate production value. I feel like more than most.
There's a
people.
lot of things I can, dock it for. I mean, like, everything felt. If I had to put my perspective, then my immediate thought is that there were too many glasses and none of them were full. They had a lot of ideas that I liked.
Sure.
If they just committed to this, poured this into that and have this more full, I would enjoy that. But it was so many things lined up.
Ron Swanson once said, "If you never half-ass anything. If you're going to do anything, use your whole ass." And I honestly love that advice, right? So what did you feel like they were half-assing? What should have they committed harder on?
What are the glasses for? Oh, the library is
Go ahead.
open.
You can hold on to those. And
I have
just
my bear glasses too. I could have just
get ready to read this movie.
Oh, I'm not going to read the movie here.
Read it now.
For people that are listening, I was given
great.
glasses
Great.
the library is open. Thank you. I'm going to buy these now. So, like, for example,
They look good
my
on you.
immediate thing that was like, oh, everything felt rushed. I didn't feel attached to any of the
Yes,
characters.
yes.
For example, like,
And again, I'm old. I don't know the cast other than Freddie Prinze and Jennifer Love Hewitt. But but I also thought the
One
characters
of them
were
was
barely
from
there.
Bodies.
Apparently.
the protagonist.
Yeah. But again,
What was her name?
Ava?
Okay.
Well, you're cheating. You're looking at.
Well, Ava and Danica, I
That's
knew.
the nice thing about the glasses.
You see the reflection
Hold on.
in the glasses?
You were about to tell us. What was the
So
thing
like,
that you?
I didn't feel attached to the characters because
Right,
there wasn't
okay.
enough exposition to make me want to see them succeed. And in that way, like when what was his? Now I'm gonna actually
Teddy?
just look at the thing.
not Teddy.
Not Teddy, the other
Milo?
one, Milo.
Milo.
When Milo's getting killed, spoilers. When Milo was getting choked out, I didn't feel anything.
Oh no.
But like the thing that like again everything's rushed is like
wait,
oh
wait,
my
wait,
god,
wait.
Teddy-
Which time that
All
Milo
of our
was getting
slash-
choked out?
Ooh. Oh.
Just kidding.
That's what it sounded
He never
like.
got choked out.
Hold on, because this is a podcast for horror and slasher fans, and like we're not saying that like you need to have a deep emotional connection with the characters to enjoy seeing them get gutted.
Absolutely
sure.
not. No.
I mean, we just talked about Final Destination.
Exactly. So
So like it's
not
in
even
that
just
way,
not necessarily
it's
that
not
you
like
connect.
I want to love them, but it's like
I couldn't even root for them.
it didn't feel like this. I was in on the stakes.
There was nothing to pay
Yeah.
attention to.
There was no stakes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
You could have skipped the first half, started watching halfway through, and you didn't like miss anything.
It was all
And
surf, no turf. Like
the
genuinely.
difference in like even the severity of like the
can't say
fucking A.
Wait, sorry. Yes, it's a seaside set community.
I said what I said.
So, like,
there's a
need-
fisherman.
They need the tourism.
It's a highbrow joke.
I need to
God
finish
damn it.
this
like in
thought
Jaws.
to then
Sorry.
cycle.
I'm so sorry.
To
Go
cycle it
Yeah.
because it all cycles.
Yes.
So like everything is rushed and like I'm gonna talk about the kills real quick and then go right back into how they was
No,
rushed
yeah,
because
we
it
should.
matters. In the beginning, you had this visceral harpoon to like the arm, harpoon to this, and like that felt, and then like the like body that she finds, and then like what is it? The next kill you don't even see. You just see it's podcast girl who was we were cosplaying as, honestly, and it was fucking hilarious. It was so hilarious hearing like the like her
This town
podcast
is so
thing,
cute. I want to die.
and I just see you melting
Look,
next
if
to
we
me.
were allowed out of the basement, but we're not allowed out of the basement. We're not allowed.
But like even just the jump from that to that, you have someone getting harpooned, and then you see his like
Okay, so
up there into
I was
him,
happy with
into her
that.
getting choked out, but you don't see, you just see her dangling. Into then just a quick slash from the camera guy. Like it dissipated more and more and more.
Yeah, you got less and less and less.
of the
What
murder.
camera guy? What?
The cemetery when he was going to check.
Oh yeah,
It was
that
so.
was the caretaker.
wait. That's what I'm
which
saying.
is also side piece. People not a part of.
Thank you.
The
Dude,
Yes.
main
so
cast.
there were
Which I
so
couldn't remember
many-
if that was
so
the
much
main
collateral
thing
damage.
in the original as well, because I know only half of them actually died. So like again, harkening back to the original, maybe.
It feels
right?
like they were but it also kind of felt like they were just padding out like time.
Yeah.
It's like we need to kill people because we can't find clever ways to work it in as to why these people are going to die because we need them to be.
Or
part
we,
of
that,
it.
and that's the thing. It
Yeah.
stunk of, but we need them for this, and
Yeah.
and it felt reverse engineered in a not good way. I'm not against reverse engineering a story. I think you can come up with a fucking banger ending and then reverse engineer from that. But like
For
they didn't
sure.
even have a banger ending.
So
if that's
very
what they
good.
thought was an awesome ending. Then
go
I
back
want to
to
punch them in the
rushing it.
face.
Yeah.
Holy
we
cow.
see Teddy and his dad killed, and then like hanging like fish.
He was
Which
hung.
I will say that was
We're
a
not
cool,
talking about 28 years later anymore.
Damn it!
Gosh, I am.
Okay, wait.
But like, it was cool imagery. Like the kills not so much, but the imagery, I liked it.
So you're not against the kills, all right.
Well, no.
Or you're saying that was another
the imagery
example
of them
half-assed.
hanging, when they found them hanging.
So
That
you're
was
saying
part
they
of-
should
that was
have
one of the
committed
cooler
harder.
shots.
They should have committed harder to the kills.
was no gore.
to like at least keep the tempo of like you went from that harpoon like elongated sequence
okay,
to
too.
literally just you see her getting choked and it just declined, and then like
You
and then
just hear a squelching noise in that scene too.
It did
You don't
become
really see
less.
anything.
It became less sensational and more plot mechanic, and that's not
Yeah.
fun to watch.
But then when we talk about getting
when you're not
rushed,
invested.
Yeah.
this sequence right here is the one that I was like,
Which one?
but like this is the one
Do
that
it.
I was like, oh my god, I can't. This is gonna be so hard to
Sorry
justify.
for getting so heated about this and cutting you off. I'm so sorry.
No! I have the glasses.
You do.
I have the ruler. I get to.
That's why I'm apologizing.
I don't even care about timelines anymore.
But yeah, you
I'm a little terrified.
You see the dangling fish, and then Stevie's like, "Guys, we have to go," and then it's like, "No, and then they're like, "Oh, thank God, it's Milo's car. It's so good to see him." Opens the door, sees his dead body there, and
okay, but we're just like,
but like it's like
so like, what did you
it's-
think of that? Like, why?
It's
why
so
did-
rushed.
Okay,
like.
okay. Sorry, yeah, your performance is great.
Oh, it's just.
She loves it.
Oh yeah. Well, like, she takes the
Give me
bracelet.
that.
But like the point of this is like everything.
pacing.
The pacing was just
Pacing
like
was
they put
trash.
so much in so little time. Like
I don't know if I felt the same way, but like when you can't nail down pacing when your movie is only 90 to 100 minutes, like you don't have to even do that much math for a 3-act structure with 90 to 100 minutes. Like that's
we
easy
barely
math.
this one was
That's
one-
easy
this
math.
was
And they
110.
still, I wasn't like mad at the pacing, but I do think that like the kills kind of being
It started
lessened,
here and
get
then just-
yeah,
yeah.
that doesn't make sense in terms
Which
of
is
pacing or
stupid
structure.
too, because they blew their load in the fucking in the trailer. The trailer showed that fucking scene.
Okay, I'll do you one better. Instagram shows the scene that Danica sees when she comes down the stairs.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
No, they straight. That
no,
that
no,
Like
was
it
that
literally,
was, I
it's
think,
her
the
walking
second
down,
trailer. Yeah,
and then
yeah, yeah.
the camera pans, and you see him like,
advertising.
and I was like,
or whatever, and also the shot of like the
No.
birdcage thing coming down on it, like this. Whole thing
I
was-
cackled so hard when the fucking fishing cage fell on.
that was so Resident Evil 4 coded.
It was.
Leon,
help!
All right,
But
so
yeah, pacing was just that,
so half-assed kills, half-assed pacing.
Pacing.
Half-assed writing.
and just like everything smushed together, and then how big spoiler, how dare they do that to Freddy?
This is
how
this
dare
is really what offended
Okay, yeah,
me.
here we go.
This is because
I actually did not hate this.
I told them.
I called this about halfway.
So okay,
through.
the original, and let me again, because
Yeah,
my age,
I'll,
right? So
I'll defend the twist, but
1997. I'm oh god, 97.
you were 97
I'm
years
11 going on 12, right? So I think I have like a pretty clear memory of like in 98 watching this like on home video with like friends in 7th grade, right? And like of course it's 7th grade, so I'm like I'm half paying attention to the girls in the room than I was like the movie. But I'm also who I am, and I was also mostly ignoring everyone to pay attention to the movie. And so like I have like a fond memory of this movie, but like it's not a sacred totem to me in the way that like Scream is a sacred totem that has aged so well and so beautifully and just Scream, love you, right? But I know what you did last summer, even with the same writer, Kelvin Williamson, like it was fun, but it didn't have the legs that Scream has, right? So when you made Freddie Prinze Jr.
Because Scream had some legs.
the fucking killer of this legacy sequel in 2025, because of Professor Jennifer Love Hewitt's whole thing about trauma, and I appreciate that it was complex PTSD.
yes,
Yeah.
I was like, fine, you put in the work for that to be the case.
You
I
put
don't give a shit that they made an original cast member a killer. I'm actually kind of like, oh, you pulled a move. Good for you. Because
Yeah.
you need something bold in a sauce this fucking bland. And so, whereas we kind of hated it and were disappointed in it and felt like it didn't even understand the assignment in a basic way,
It's
I feel
more
like
of
you're
like
like,
it's more of like a-
it's mid.
I love Freddie Prinze, so I was like, no!
Yeah,
But like,
that was a hard
again,
one for you.
I justified it the same way you
I
did.
love Freddie Prinze Jr.
I
This is
enjoyed-
Kanan Jarrus of Star Wars, so... But no, please.
But the same thing with you. Like, you know, as much, it's from nostalgia's sake. Like, no, not my Freddie Prinze.
Sure,
But
sure.
like, in the realm of the
I love
story,
Can't Hardly Wait.
they did, they did the work. They set up
I
the...
recorded it on VHS. Sorry.
They set up the playing field as such. And like, it's something... I will say...
I might have bought Freddie Prinze Jr. as the killer a little bit more if his accomplice, the first reveal, was anything.
It was literally...
wet tissue paper. Like, what was that character?
It was like, guys, we gotta get on the boat. And I was like, the minute I was like, okay, well, it's her. And then they're like, oh, we're gonna go to the church. And then they turn around like, look at this. You're telling me that Danica and
They were
Ava
at the fucking
were
church.
at the church and they didn't see any of the pictures.
It's literally
that
by
showed,
the door.
To be
And
fair.
also Stevie didn't recognize the fucking truck.
Oh, yeah, okay. So on the drive
Stevie
home,
didn't
wasn't it
recognize-
called the Church of the Red Herring? Or was that not?
that would have been so.
I'm sorry, please go on.
But yeah, literally
His
on the
name
drive
was
home.
Pastor Judah.
Judah.
Was
One
there
of
much
you will
else that
betray me.
we had in terms of like how we felt like this movie did not
It missed
do its
so
job?
many marks, and then on the train of like nostalgia and like fan what's the
Service.
word service
Fan
of it,
service,
like Bloodlines. It's like what was it? Goldilocks. That one was just right. 28 years later,
kind of like
just
hot.
right.
and beyond,
It did it.
and this
No,
was like-
28 years later, hot. It was hot. This
best way.
was
In the
fucking
best way.
cold.
And this was cold.
And because it was just so much to I mean,
Hot
like,
I do
complimentary.
feel like
it was more silly than anything. Like, oh, we can go on the yacht to the Bahamas, and then Fraser was like, "Trust me, that's not a good idea."
Oh my
Wait,
god!
wait,
and then
wait,
they
wait.
fucking.
So I have seen I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, and I completely forgot about Brandy's whole friggin' existence and the Bahamas. And then when she pops up at the end, I was like, oh yeah!
Can I just say, can we fucking stop it with the fucking post-credit sequence? I'm fucking over it.
I'm not.
If Sam Jackson isn't showing up recruiting them to the fucking Avengers.
Brandy will appear in the next Avenger movie.
Hey man, people work hard on some of those initial closing credit sequences.
There's definitely times that it's done right for sure. Like,
can't remember.
i.e., like we reference it nonstop. Sinners.
I think it's
the
Brooklyn.
post-credit sequence for or the mid-credit sequence for Sinners, so fucking good.
See, that's what I mean.
It adds so much to the movie. And
If that exists, you can't tell me that we should.
That's nice. So no, yeah, we can't do away with it, but please do it right. If you
well.
show up and then like that's when we're gonna fucking like tease you with a goddamn sequel to a movie we didn't fucking ask for.
But how many times has Avengers done that? Literally that.
But we were asked. Well, okay, so I
Well,
would
not
say.
Avengers,
Hold
no,
on,
the
I'm sorry. You
MCU
conjured.
fans were
You
asked.
conjured the MCU nerd.
But like the Marvel universe does like an end credit scene where it's like, oh, so that means like
It also it didn't invent it, I don't think,
No,
but like it
absolutely.
very much like made it its thing, and like
Right.
that's sort of part and parcel. It also like created the whole like cross franchise thing. Like I kind of give MCU a lot of leeway, not only because I'm a Marvel fanboy to a certain degree, and like always was as a kid too. Like I read the Marvel comics way more than DC, and I've always been a comics guy. But like I'll give it more apologies because it did things that no one else did. And I'm not just talking about making money, but that's also there, you know, and that's also a big part of it. But it's all legit. We were saying. I'm sorry. Go on.
no. It's absolutely. And were we talking about it? About how like Stevie didn't get kill shot?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So like
Because it was confirmed. I don't know. I was sighing too heavily to understand what they were saying
Say
in
what?
the final couple minutes.
Oh yeah.
well,
So
like-
she's not dead.
Which again, how dare you? That was not earned at all.
But I think
how
they're
dare
gonna-
you try
I
to
think
tack
they're
on
gonna-
they're not dead, or are they? Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Fuck you.
at the end
They
you.
literally said the end question mark.
that.
Well, like,
yeah.
for those
You gotta earn that.
mid-credit scene, if you've seen it or haven't seen it and missed it, we get a look at Brandy watching the news of what happened, and then she gets
And she
a
has
visit.
some of the most bland dialogue ever. Too.
I'm sorry
gets
to
a
be,
visit
I'm sorry to
from-
not be braggy, but considering the dialogue that you just mentioned, did I not not verbatim, but like almost predict the line she says to Jennifer Love Hewitt when she
Yeah,
opens the
you
door?
literally said it, and
Oh.
then
Girl,
she
who are we
said
going
it.
after?
And I'm like,
Come on, like
Brandy deserves
you
so-
could've
Brandy
given
deserves
that-
better.
Brandy
2 more
deserves
minutes
way
of effort.
better. Also, like whoever her agent is that's been casting her in these fucking roles recently is just
I
been
still
fucking
need to-
dropping the ball.
I still need to see the.
I was gonna say I haven't seen that one
So,
either,
like,
and
I
hey,
haven't
I'm not
heard
gonna knock
anything
someone
good.
trying to get back into whatever.
I haven't heard anything good.
But yeah,
no,
it ends with Love Hewitt is showing her a picture, and Brandy's face is crossed out, which would assume that there's someone still
There's
out
another
to
yeah,
get them.
I still know what you did, or something like that. Is I forget exactly what the quote was.
I still know what you did last.
Yeah, yeah.
I know. I
Maybe
think it was. I
sequel.
still know
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you did.
Yeah,
and that was it.
And that was it. And like in reference to like Stevie, like she was never like shot in the head, a la like another Scream or situation.
Was it 2? No.
So many of them were like
The one that ends in the
jump
theater.
scare.
Yeah, 2, the college one.
Yeah, 2. So like,
I think 3 as well.
you know, there's a lot of air of like what could happen or anything, or if it was it just like, and they're like, haha, remember that? But like, again, too many cooks in the kitchen. Nothing was cooked.
Nothing was cooked.
Nothing was cooked.
I often
all.
feel like so many times movies will try to like make too many people happy, and in doing so makes nobody happy.
Right.
It feels very
No
much
glass
like
is
that.
full.
This is the other side of that fan service tightrope walk. Whereas Bloodlines did it correctly, this end of it did it incorrectly.
Despite 28 years later kind of being like the middle highlight anchor, whatever,
Yes.
I do feel like Bloodlines and this are better companion pieces because they're both kind of pulpy. They're both kind of throwaways. They're both kind of like, nah, whatever. But like one does it so well, and the other one really dropped the ball.
Yeah. So like, it's unfortunate. I'm glad that we were able to experience the movie.
It was still fun to go together and laugh at, if not
For
with.
sure.
Yeah.
I,
It's a fun watch. My personal recommendation, and this sounds really bad, is wait until it comes out.
oh yeah, my friend
Maybe rent it, you know?
my
Rent
friend
it.
was like, is
Rent
it good?
Yeah, you know what? Fucking rent it. You know, don't go to a theater. Rent it at home. Get some friends together and laugh your way through it. Have fun because that's what movies are supposed to be.
If we're
Above all else, have fun watching a movie.
Yes.
if we're ready to just kind of wrap
And that's
things
the
up,
motherfucking tea.
Oh, you wanted to say that so bad.
did
did.
anyone want to add anything else to this? Are we good? Because
I have nothing else nice to
same.
say.
I was just going to, in an attempt to segue again to our other like Lego sequel honorable mentions before we just kind of start wrapping things up, is to just
for
kind of
sure.
again. I just found it interesting in the boring ways that I do sometimes. That
Yeah.
I know what you did last
Give us
summer,
our history
as was
lesson.
well established, came out in 1997, as they repeatedly said.
Was
in
it
the movie.
1997?
And then the following year, 98, like, and it's always a red flag when they like pump a sequel out that quickly. I still know what you did last summer. The Bahamas, came out. Not the same writer, it wasn't Kevin Williamson, wasn't the same director, but I don't even know who directed the 97. Anyway, you got 97, 98, and then 2000 was the original Final Destination. Then 2002 was 28 Days Later. A year later was Final Destination 2. And then 3 years later, we get Final Destination 3. 3 years after that was I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, the direct-to-video threequel that had nothing to do with anything. However, takes place in Colorado, much like the literary source material. Did you guys know I Know What You Did Last Summer is based on a novel?
Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
It
Right.
was
So apparently neither
a
did the
loose
writers.
adaptation of the 1973 novel, which had an audiobook update in 2010 so that the characters could have cell phones. Had nothing to do with a fisherman, but it did have to do with a group of teens
I was gonna say a fisherman in Colorado feels weird.
having some sort of traffic bike accident. And anyway,
he's wearing fucking waders.
2006's
He kills him with a fly fishing pole.
I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer hewed a little bit closer to that, apparently. But who's to say, because nobody fucking saw it. In 2007, a year later, we got 28 Weeks Later, and then in 2009, The Final Destination, otherwise known now as Final Destination 4, came out. And then just a couple years later, 2011, was Final Destination 5. So case in point, 97 to 2011, without more than 2 or 3 years between each entry, we had one of these franchises, pretty consistently. And then nothing from 2011 to 2021, which is when Amazon put out the I Know What You Did Last Summer series, which again, nobody watched. In 2025, we then got the 3 movies that we just finished discussing. However, in talking about like the timeline and the history and the gaps between the originals and the Lego sequel versus like just the sequels,
Yeah.
I have, as always, a pretty substantial letterbox list that we don't
Dude.
have to look at in great detail. I know we're a little pressed for time.
Which, if you would like to go and visit Joe's letterbox, because
Joe is the letterbox diva.
Joe is John Letterbox. Like he is Joe Letterbox.
We didn't plan this. Thank you.
Yeah.
I do want
if
people
you were,
to enjoy.
If you were up to that, we could link it.
Yeah. I'm Joe Heat on Letterboxd. Come check me out and make fun of all
He's
the
got
things
some
I say.
Great, well-worded reviews. If you like the things that he says, his writing.
Oh, yeah,
his
he's
writing is very, very good. His lists are also very fun and very informative. When this man sets up a like a genre pick or like a topic pick, like he does a very good job.
He understands the assignment and beyond.
100%. I think as far as like legacy sequels though, it's like in like previous iterations, like there were so many that were good, so many that were bad. Like Friday the 13th. Loved it. I loved it. It was a fresh new version. Jared Padalecki, come on. And then you had on the downside of things, Nightmare on Elm Street. Then you had Halloween, mixed reception. It's like we're kind of hitting all of those same three things. Like if you pick any three legacy sequels,
eventually will repeat itself.
it does. Like I like the Rob Zombie, like legacy sequel, like reboot, fucking bleh. But then you also have like ones like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like we started talking about yesterday. Texas Chainsaw Massacre could fit into so many of these different things. Of like we're gonna reboot it, we're gonna remake it, we're gonna prequel it, we're gonna legacy sequel, we're gonna do everything. We're gonna try to like revamp it. Like nothing beats the terrible, awful nonsense of do what you do, cuz, and she throws the fucking chainsaw. That was fucking bad.
No, that was camp. That's what that was. That was camp.
You can't say it's camp. It was just bad.
Is camp not?
I don't know. I kind of like the vloggers going to an abandoned town and then getting massacred in a bus.
God.
But if I had to pick a favorite, Beginning is probably my favorite. Beginning and Texas Chainsaw 2002.
Which one had Matthew McConaughey and what's her name? Just
Is that
3?
2?
Was that 2?
It was either 2 or 3.
Okay.
It was Next Generation.
I thought it was maybe 3 because it was 90s something.
Yeah, it was Next Generation.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003. Was that the one with Matt Bomer in it?
I'm very bad at all. Like,
I love the one with Matt Bomer in it because I love Matt Bomer.
That's one of the
Put Matt
franchises
Bomer in
I'm
more things, please.
woefully not educated on.
But then we also got things like Alien Romulus.
Yes.
Yes.
We have things like Prometheus. We have things like what is it, Alien Covenant?
So
Covenant,
so
Prometheus,
like
all
I very
those.
much have Prometheus like as a legacy sequel because it was kind of trying to reboot things, right?
Yeah.
It was trying to like not necessarily make you think about Fincher's
It was
3
a Lego
or Resurrection.
requel.
You know, it wanted to
making
kickstart
words.
things in a new way, right? It's Ridley Scott returning, right? So it definitely has legacy sequel status. Whereas Covenant is just the sequel to Prometheus.
Yes.
And even that's like kind of not loose because it has the Fassbender character, but like that was almost a pivot because people didn't love Prometheus, whatever. But then I also have Romulus because that is then like the reaction against the Scott, Prometheus
And we got
Covenant.
the deep faked, what's this fucking face playing Bishop again?
And it's very explicitly, almost to a fault in many people's eyes, like
Which
trying to harken back
I can't
to the
fault
originals.
Fede Alvarez for that. That was not his doing. That was the studio, and he has come out and said as such.
No, we really stand Romulus, I think,
Yes.
on
for
this
sure.
pod.
Yeah. It's something in the water.
Which, I mean,
God.
Alien, of course, has like great horror and sci-fi overlaps. Similarly, whereas I would not consider Predators a legacy sequel.
No.
That feels just more like a sequel, just like another one.
I feel like AVP2 was probably closer to a legacy sequel because AVP2 to me hit more like Predator 2, where it's like, oh, he's coming stateside and there's a thing happening in America.
Nothing against Danny Glover, but like neither of those felt to me like legacy sequels because they weren't really reaching for,
But Prey definitively was.
What was?
Prey.
So that's what I was about to say. Like,
Yes.
but like I wouldn't consider Predators a legacy sequel, but Prey absolutely is, right? Because it's very much like begging to be compared to the original with Arnold in the woods, like woman against nature, whatever,
Yeah.
person against nature. Like that imagery was there. That was meant to be a legacy sequel. You know what I'm saying?
Killer of Killers.
Whereas Badlands, the upcoming Predator sequel.
Elle Fanning vehicle.
Again, I guess you could argue that's a legacy sequel, but like.
It's AVP3. Technically.
I mean, it's really
There's no A, but
really
still.
it is the third in the new Predator cycle if we're gonna count Killer of Killers, which was so dope.
Killer of Killers is fucking great. Do what you're doing. Turn off the podcast right now. Turn it off right fucking
Genuinely
now.
one of
Go
the best
watch
of the year
Killer
for
of
me so
Killers,
far.
and then come back and tell me if you liked it. because I know you will. But that one also ties in with Prey. That one also ties in with
Well, Prey's getting a sequel.
Predator
We're getting
2.
Badlands. Yeah, it is like the second in a new Predator cycle.
yeah.
Killer of Killers is on Hulu.
Yes.
Cool
And directed by the
animation
same guy who did Prey, who is also doing Badlands. And that kind of consistency, again, much like with the 28 new trilogy, you know what I mean? Like, it has that creative consistency, which I think gives it a little bit of an edge against other sequels.
Killer of Killers, you said, was animated by the same people that did Samurai Champloo?
Not that I know of, no.
Wait, no. Who? What?
The guy who did Samurai Champloo
Oh, that was the Yakuza thing. Yeah.
has done Lazarus, which is whatever, whole other
okay.
thing that is not great.
Sorry,
But no,
wrong
it does
thing.
look like the same cell shade as Blue Eye Samurai.
Yes.
But that's just
Very
I think
cool
that's just tech.
animation.
I don't think that's
Go check
direction.
the fuck out. Don't listen to us.
But so we have now hit Aliens and Predators, Legacy sequels. We also have again in the Ridley Scott Xenomorph replicant universe, Blade Runner. Right? We had Blade Runner, and we had like a zillion cuts. The final cut, the director's cut, the theatrical cut, the new VHS,
The Schneider cut
the
for some
Laserdisc
fucking
cut.
reason.
Yeah, he didn't have anything. He wasn't born yet. No.
Zach showed up and was like, "Give me the film."
Blade Runner 2049, Denis Villeneuve, Ryan Gosling, Harrison Ford, so many people that I love. Anna de Armas, oh God, what's her name? The non-hologram lady that I love. I thought that movie was awesome. Like, I know a lot of people thought it was too slow.
We love you, non-hologram lady.
Stop it. Mackenzie Davis. Ha!
Did it? You did do it.
Respect. Put it on her name. I also love Terminator Dark Fate, which she's also a star in, which is very much, okay, so you guys, you help me out. Are the Terminator sequels, what are they?
So that's a great question.
So you have the
When are we
original and you
starting
have
the
t-
question.
You have original and you have two. Those are just like original and
That's it.
sequel, and they are the only ones that truly
Hardcore
matter.
fast stop.
3 fucking sucks.
3 made me feel funny in my pants for a minute, and
Sure.
then because I was young and I
But it's a
watched it.
bad, like, it makes bad jokes. It's a bad joke. It sucks.
She literally makes her boobs bigger. And I was
never
like,
seen-
I've
Never seen a Terminator
If there was
movie.
more of a 2000
never?
movie, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, sorry about that.
He's a bad film nerd over here.
Stop. Hey, no, he's doing his work.
Sorry. He's a generous film nerd.
But then here's the thing with Terminator, and yeah, you are generous.
You shady bitch. Here are the glasses, you shady bitch.
It's not generous, he's soft. But
And that's the motherfucking tea.
but then third is such a piece of shit that years later, 4 is like a gritty reboot, and it has nothing to do with any of the seed. No, well, I mean,
Was
there's
that the
plenty
one
of CG in
where
it, but
Christian Bale showed up?
yeah.
Okay.
And so
Salvation.
it's a pivot, right? Mick
Yeah.
G directed it. There's Anton Yelchin's in it. Like, I kind of enjoy Salvation a little bit.
We love Anton Yelchin.
Whereas Genesis, it's spelled GenYsis.
Oh, yeah. Because it couldn't be Genesis.
Sega fans will not stand for. Anyway, Genesis sucked. I apparently watched it because I have a record of it somewhere. But I remember 0 of it.
Dude, this is going to go down as the most hateful episode of our podcast.
And then anyway, and then they had like Dark Fate a few years later, which I kind of enjoyed.
Hate.
That one was very much explicitly ignoring 3, 4, and 5. So that I feel like is almost more like a sequel
Sure.
than the others. However, it's such a steady sort of timeline. Like, there's not a huge gap. There's not like a 15-year gap as opposed to like 2-year gaps.
Yeah.
Like with Halloween or something like that.
Yeah.
So like, I just, again, with parameters in defining these things,
Yeah.
Terminators are on my list, but like, I kind of put all of them on.
But like
Because like each one
in
was
the same-
trying to reboot the franchise, and each one kind of fucking failed.
But in the same breath, it's like you have like the chunks of Halloweens, where it was
Those are
like
more cycles.
we have the Halloweens, and it did the same thing as Predator, where it's like we're gonna start the new Halloween cycle. It's the Rob Zombie cycle now.
I wasn't-
and then it was like now it's the David Gordon Green cycle now. Please, David Gordon Green, stop making horror movies, please.
They already stopped them. They already stopped them.
Thank God. Go back to comedy. You were good at that. Please.
They stopped them after Exorcist. Although
then-
Flanagan's no longer doing it.
We
But,
also had different cycles of Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't gonna bring
That's
that
another
up.
2015 new reboot, whatever.
Yeah, we had
I didn't even see it, so I can't.
2016 Ghostbusters, and then we also had Ghostbusters: The Frozen Empire in 2024.
That has its own behind-the-scenes bullshit that I don't even want to get into. But like, so I was just gonna say that I didn't want to step on our slashers too much because I know that's kind of its own thing, and we're gonna, kind of cover ground with that. But just to open up the greater list, which has a lot of non-horror entries.
Do you have Psycho 2 on your list?
No, but I should.
You didn't put Psycho 2 on your list?
No.
Damn,
and that is
from
2 and 3.
What was it? 83 was
3,
Psycho 2.
3, Anthony Perkins directed. So that's almost, I think,
that
more
was
of
actually,
the legacy
it was
sequel.
more
Because 2 was like, oh, do another one real quick. Almost
Yeah.
like Exorcist, right? Whereas Legion, had a gap. It had years later. It had the original writer coming back. You know what I mean? Same thing with Psycho 3. There was some time between. You had the original star coming back to direct. Those feel more legacy sequel than just the part 2s.
What was it? Last year. Fucking Insidious, Red Door.
Oh, right. With Patrick Wilson directing, which I wanted to check
Wilson
out
did
because
it.
of that.
Yeah. Shout out Patrick Wilson, actually. Because,
Kind of a scream king.
Did you know he's fucking like an incredible singer?
Did I
not
ever?
surprised.
Yeah, he's fucking great.
Did I ever?
performance.
you
He
should-
was it was in Brigadoon.
Yeah, you should check out the song that Patrick Wilson
did.
did with
With Ghost.
Yes,
Yes.
so fucking good. Shout out my barber. Jim actually showed that to me while I was getting a
Yeah,
haircut. And I was like, damn.
I clocked it during the credits, and I was like, "Is that Ghost?"
yeah,
Because I knew that was Patrick Wilson.
so sick.
I was won over by Patrick Wilson not only with Hard Candy, but then also Watchmen. Like those, I was like, oh, this dude's.
Oh
I'm
my
on board
god,
for
I forget
that.
he disappeared into that role.
Because he's kind of meant to.
He is Night Owl.
I was just gonna say, we can spend as much or as little time on it now as we want. But again, I was gonna not ignore, but kind of not get into the more explicit horror slasher ones because I know we're gonna get more into those
sure.
with like its own episode.
As time
But
goes on,
to kind of jumpstart things, the earliest on my Legacy Sequels list, which again, thank you for my letterbox shoutouts. It's very nice. Was the first Legacy sequel I have as The Color of Money, which was the Paul Newman, Tom Cruise, I already fucked it up. Color of Money, 1986, directed by Martin Scorsese.
So you
right?
mean to tell me that that's not just the Bury Your Dead song?
So this was, what did I just say, 86. And then this is actually a legacy sequel to the Paul Newman classic The Hustler, which came out in 1961. So
Okay.
61 to what I just say, 86?
Yeah.
So 25 years. Right?
That's
That's
cool.
a huge, that's a legacy sequel. And that was the earliest that I could find like good solid evidence of like a noteworthy. They pulled it off. It was like Scorsese and Newman and this new young up and start, Tom Cruise coming in. Like that
guy?
feels like a legacy sequel. You have the original cast. You have a big name director. You have a huge gap in between. You have big
fits all
built
the
up
criteria,
expectations.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So that was like my earliest legacy sequel. But then after that, 86, you have like Escape from L.A., include the legacy sequel to
fuck, I
Escape
forgot
from
about
New York,
that,
right?
yeah.
Escape from New York, awesome. L.A., is it a slam dunk? Is it an impossible three-pointer? We'll never know. I then had next on
Kurt
my
Russell's
list.
in it.
And again,
That's all I have to say about it.
I'm not going to hit all 40 of the things on here, but I want to kind of just like skate
If you
through.
want to know more, go check out his list. What are you doing?
Escape from L.A., Episode 1 of Star Wars, Terminator. Do you guys remember Rocky Balboa came out in 2006? Same year as Rambo. Sylvester Stallone was clearly going through something in the mid-2000s.
Yeah,
2 years
he was
later...
waiting for the next Expendables movie to come out.
I don't even think the first one had the first ones at that point.
I have no
Doesn't
idea.
matter. He thought he had juice. Fuck Stallone.
He was juicing.
Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull came out in 2008. They'll never do that again.
Dial of Destiny.
Then he had
Shout out to Don.
Terminator Salvation, which we all discussed. 2009's Star Trek, which I actually really like. Say what you will about J.J. Abrams, Star Trek 09 was a fun movie. 2010, Tron Legacy, it's right there in the title. Prometheus, Evil Dead, Terminator Genesis, Creed. In 2015, again.
Can you take?
2015 had Jurassic World, Creed, Mad Max, and The Force Awakens. That's 4
Damn.
gigantic. Oh wait, and also the following year, Independence Day Resurgence. Roland Emmerich came back. So did the original cast. T2, not that T2, but Train Spotting. Danny Boyle and the original cast came back.
Oh fuck, I forgot about that. Yeah.
17, same year as Blade Runner 2049. So like from 15 to 17, Lego sequels are on fire, right?
Oh, for
Like
sure.
it's not a new invention, but it really kicked off about 10 years ago. Then you also had like Mary Poppins Returns, Jumanji, Dr. Sleep, Bad Boys, Ghostbusters, Candyman,
Dr. Sleep.
Matrix Resurrections, all the Spider-Man MCUs, Top Gun Maverick.
So those slasher remakes, legacy sequel, like you're missing a couple here that that I feel like should be shouted out.
These are like my preferred. These are not like all of them.
Your hot list and stuff, and
Evil
I totally,
Dead Rise,
I totally agree.
Gladiator 2.
Evil Dead Rise and Evil Dead should be shouted out specifically.
Right.
And
Those
because they
two
are
fucking
different.
movies are great. We're expecting a third one.
Yeah,
soon.
Burns.
Yeah, we are.
Evil Dead Burns. Can't wait.
Evil Dead Burns. Black Christmas. Slumber Party.
Oh my gosh!
Slumber
yeah.
Party Massacre.
Whoa, okay, wait a sec though. Black Christmas. There's 3 of them.
Yes.
Those are all remakes. I would not call any of those legacy sequels.
But is it not refreshing the legacy?
Those absolutely didn't. They
oh.
wanted to, but like those I would consider either
There-
reboots or remakes because
there
they
is
are.
no-
It is the same bullshit. It is-
Fair enough.
And it didn't have like no. That's cool, and I think that's it's such a great thing to bring up because it is a
No,
nice
read him.
distinction. What?
Read him.
What, his rights? Just kidding. We don't have those anymore.
But no, I'm on the same.
you gotta read me.
It was, it was back-to-back remakes for Black Christmas.
Well, no, because I love Black Christmas. 74, the original Black Christmas is amazing. If you can get your hands on it, like I think I had to get a hard copy, but like it's legitimately good. Like it has pacing. It has good not good performances like Oscar worthy, but like knew the assignment, like understood what they were
Oh
doing.
my god, yeah.
And then wait. So help me out because I've seen. There was a 2019 Black Christmas with
Yes.
Imogen Poots, who I love, and it's a shit movie. It's terrible.
Was that the one with the
Oh.
eyeball bouncing down the hallway?
I think it might have been.
That one.
Then they were,
that,
but in 2011, Mary Elizabeth Winstead did a Black Christmas
was
with
that Black
Michelle
Xmas?
Trachtenberg and just like tweens and teens from like our tween like the CW programming. So like I
'cause
have
it was like
affection
a
for that one.
That was the
Also
another
bad, though.
sorority slasher or something.
yeah, that was 2006.
But neither of them like that's the
Andrea Martin, Broadway Queen.
for me with Lego sequels. Like I was just like hitting those 2015 examples. Those were huge franchises, big expectations. There's 0 expectations for Black Christmas. Most people don't even know what that is. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
that would be my only gripe in terms of the use of our terminology. But I love that you brought it up and that it like is absolutely a slasher that we need to pay respect to, especially for the gaps in between the original and the first remake. But okay. The only other ones that we didn't mention that I think are worth mentioning just to hype them up coming out is
Zoom us through it.
2027's Spaceballs 2
Can't wait.
and later this year Tron Ares. Which I don't know if we count.
Soundtrack by
But 15 years ago.
9 Inch Nails.
And we're going to hype that just because
Not Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. 9 Inch Nails, the
Specifically,
full
yeah.
fucking band. We're fucking back, baby. The goths are gonna be living. I don't care what the movie's about. I'm not gonna see the movie for the movie. I'm gonna see the movie for the soundtrack. But yeah.
Ditto.
Did you guys have anything closing that you wanted to bring up about Lego sequel, prequel, reboot, re-sequel legacy?
Enjoy your movies, but also, if you like them a lot, check out what started them.
Yeah.
Yeah, always go back to the originals, but we wanted to do a Lego sequel episode because it's such a great way, honestly, to revisit classics, understand the difference in like film trends and technology and everything else, like between the original and whatever the new remake. And it just like is such a great entryway to get into like, oh, there were sequels in between and like, oh, what was the difference here? And it just is a nice way to break down these different lineages of various franchises, good and bad. And it just is like one way that you can track your, furthering of film knowledge and horror movies, at large. Because again, we want to make it accessible. We want to make it something that everyone can enjoy and appreciate and jump in on. But that means that you're going to be doing this journey without us sometimes, and we can't leave the basement. Again, we're not allowed.
We're not allowed.
So hopefully these.
But we would like to have a conversation with you. So comment.
Yeah.
Do those things.
Tell me
us.
how much you enjoy. I know we did last summer, so I can fight these fools.
We're bringing our journeys to you. Bring your journeys to us.
Yeah.
Let us know how it's going.
We want to know what are your favorites. We want to know what you didn't like. We want to know what the ones you hated.
What did we forget?
Yeah.
What was too British?
Really?
America.
What was too British?
America. America.
I mean, so I guess that'll be it for us from the podcast downstairs. You can find us wherever podcasts are available. You can also find us on the YouTubes, Instagram, and TikTok. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. I want to thank our producer and tech wizard Don and Not Great Entertainment for all the help with setting up the pod. And we will see you later. Until then, stay out of the basement.